Oh, man.
Should we tweet out the link? Have you tweeted it?
Yeah, so it should have auto-tweeted, usually.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
Oh, you fancy.
Nails done, hair done, everything did.
You fancy.
It's a Saturday rantcast, and I'm already a couple beers in, so this is gonna be
Well, this is gonna be weird because I'm gonna be the sober one because I've been under the weather and I probably want to
Really?
get over. I want to get over the weather again.
You fool.
Or, and this might be medically super correct here. I could just take a super hard left turn and go all whiskey all day.
See,
and purge the toxins from my system.
I heard that you have to, what is it? It's you starve a cold and you drown the flu, and so I think if you drink whiskey, it covers both. Yeah.
See, I think it's because all the old-timey medicines had heroin and cocaine in them. That's why it got rid of everything. Because you were like, man, I feel better when I'm on this, you know?
Right.
Just really into laudanum. Just doing lots of laudanum.
Coca-Cola was a great medicine back in the day.
Yeah.
It settled your stomach.
For women's hysteria. Yeah.
Yeah, settled your stomach. It was great for the pregnant woman.
Well, with
Babies came out at a really good weight. They came out at a great weight. They just birth was easy. They just came right out. Those kids could squeeze through anything, you know? Because Coca-Cola, dude.
Yeah.
And now it makes you fat. Look what they did. They ruined it. The liberals ruined Coca-Cola.
This is what should have been meant by making America great
fat.
again.
Yeah.
This is what should have been.
that was Trump's whole platform. He was going to put cocaine back in Coca-Cola.
Was that the whole? That was the whole platform? I thought it was something about stopping airplanes with fucking walls. I thought that was part of it.
No. If it was his whole platform, it would have been a totally different election. Like, he would have got a lot of votes.
Yeah, he
would be drinking Coca-Cola right now.
Yeah. No, I remember
something about the grand old party favors.
Yeah, it was RC Cola did the "we won't be releasing a Caveffe" flavor tweet, and they immediately jumped to my favorite cola, like for the taste of failure.
Yeah, it tastes
better
bad
than,
though.
Better than Select.
I mean, RC Cola is still 99 cents for a 2-liter, and if you need to mix something in it, I'm not exactly like drinking a mixed like cola and something for the Coke, so it might as well be.
No.
Yeah. It might as well be RC.
So you're gonna choose RC, and you live in the Midwest. And you're gonna choose that over Faygo.
Yeah, I try to avoid associating with juggalos as hard as possible.
But I thought you'd get along with Coach.
Is he a juggalo? I thought he was more into Dark Lotus was his thing, you know, more meditative, more.
No, he's like I've seen him like post whoop whoops and shit and like pictures of Faygo.
He's got like fucking Hatchet Man like necklaces. He's like rocking in the background. I haven't noticed.
He has a Bert Ernie tattoo, which makes me really uncomfortable. And there's a great
picture. I just don't know what to make of it.
There's a great picture of Sam Morgan at CanCon, and like Sam's like kind of like sleeping in the background, and like Coach is sitting next to him, and it's like Bert and Ernie are watching Sam sleep, and it's classic. It's like a top 10 photo from that weekend.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
The mamas want drinks.
The mamas want drinks. Oh, I have to go
live.
Yeah, this is live. Yeah, we've the first couple members have shown up in the audience. Frank on the rocks, Kicker's in. Like,
oh, awesome. Frank from Long Island. I met that guy.
Where did you meet him, Joe?
Like, are you in witness protection right now, or what?
What?
With the fucking mic and the sunglasses.
I'm in Daft Punk. I'm the new Daft Punk.
Well, they did finally call it quits, right? So
yeah.
Which
means I'm
here
now
to fill
Rogers.
the void. I'm Theft Dunk.
Legally distinct from Daft Punk, Faft Dunk.
Faft Dunk, and it's basketball and samples from song. I'm not gonna pay any artists. I'm just gonna.
Pretty sure that's just girl talk. Right, like that's.
All right, I gotta go mix the mamas a drink. You guys talk amongst yourself. I haven't done the intro yet. We're not technically a show yet. It's once I do the intro, we become a show.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Ready, Joe? And we are back. Welcome back to Rage of Sigmar, ladies and gentlemen. Coming in your eye holes for the first time in a while, and back in your ear holes as always. Welcome to the show. I am, of course, your guest temporary intern for life, I would say, Jacob Berry. And with me, as always, the man of the hour, the most dangerous man in Warhammer, Joseph, M for Mario, for his father, Pagano.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I heard it was a sick ostrich, is what I heard.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Could
I
someone
mean, ostrich
identify
is
him?
like a two-person job.
It is a two-person job. Speaking of two-person jobs, we're doing a podcast right now. And are we recording for ourselves? Because we could just release this 2 for 1.
I think we should, as long as we beat him to market.
Yeah, we got to beat him to market. How are we going to do that if this is live?
Yeah. We'll have to go back in time and release this exact show.
Bro, so speaking of going back in time, me and Lynn started watching Star Trek Voyager because she's like, it reminds me of my dad. Okay, cool. We're going to watch it.
Yeah.
First off, they have done like 4 time travel episodes. We're like 7 episodes in. Like, it's just time.
Okay, hold on.
Like, I feel like I'm watching bad.
To be fair, I bet those time travel episodes are actually from later seasons. They just happen to occur in the first couple.
It's like Firefly, right? Just like how Firefly was aired.
I don't. You'll have to explain that joke to me.
Oh, Fox murdered that show because they aired all the episodes out of sequence.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they totally fucked that show to death.
God, I love that show.
Yeah, it was kind of released like in an order like that would surprise you.
Oh yeah, number 7.
Yeah. Number 7 will surprise you. All right.
Where did you meet Frank? Yeah.
So I was playing Warhammer with a group of friends that was of people that played Warhammer with Christique. It's actually where I met Jesse, who you met at Triumph GT.
Yeah.
And Frank was there, and he was like, "Hey, I recognize you from somewhere." I'm like, "I don't know where we know each other from." And he's like, "Nah, I'm sure I do." I'm like, "I was gonna list a bunch of things about myself," and I was like, "Did you go to hardcore shows? Did you like?" And we couldn't figure out anything in common, so maybe I just look like someone he knows or something. But
is it possible he recognized your voice but didn't realize it was you?
I don't think he had ever listened to our podcast before.
That's a good choice.
That's like 99% of the people I've met in my life haven't listened to our podcast because we're a Warhammer podcast about not Warhammer.
Right.
So
you mean occasionally we talk about Warhammer.
Yeah, and then that group of guys from border Long Island and Queens. Dude, everyone who their house they played at, he just like complained a lot about Warhammer, and it was like a negative experience. So I was just like, I'm gonna leave this chat group because I'm really enjoying Warhammer, and I don't want to be in a group where someone's just like banging on it all the time. So I was just like, all right, this isn't the group for me. I'm going to take a little step back. And I stepped out of the chat. And it was sucks because I lost, I couldn't keep in touch with guys like Frank. I remember me and Frank I was posting a lot of pictures of my barbecue that summer. I just got my smoker. So I was making ribs and I was making some pulled pork.
Is that an electric smoker or is that
it's an electric? Electric's really good. I prefer
woogie.
Yeah, it's electric.
Ouch.
Woogie.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Why you gotta hurt me, Jacob? Why you
gotta? You don't like the electric slide? That song's a classic.
No, the tweet. Pretend to like me. Ouch. Ouch. All
Pretend?
Right. I see how it is.
You're pretending? I wasn't even gonna try.
Ow! Wow. There you go.
Yes, it wouldn't be us if we weren't the mean girls of Warhammer.
Yeah.
So I heard.
Beer is not fetch.
So less about Andrew. Back to me.
Back to you. No, go ahead.
So an electric smoker really holds heat, like the proper heat levels, properly, like better than a side smoker or whatever using charcoal. That's too much work. So I just like to throw some ribs in there, put them on for like 4 hours. That's done.
Are you a dry rub? Do you go for a base? Do you brine? Like, what's your technique?
Depends on the meat. I dry rub my ribs. Ribs are dry rub. They don't even need no sauce. And then like for a pulled pork, that will get a dry rub, but it will be very wet the whole time. I'll be spraying it. I got some sprayer bottles, and I just fill them with like some apple cider vinegar, some beer,
vinegar,
some spices. Just cranking on that bitch like once an hour.
Some 1922 Coca-Cola.
Making it wet. The trick to good barbecue is keeping the right moisture balance, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
If you've ever worked on a grill, it's all about moisture. right? So in smoking, it's the same thing. But the hard part about a smoker is you need to know what's going on in the smoker without actually opening it, right? That's where
if you're looking, you're not cooking.
Yeah, if you're looking, you're dropping that heat like that. You got to be popping that thing open, sprat, bang, 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 and then closing it.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, like you gotta be like the intro scene to the '90s Romeo and Juliet flick. The intro scene with the gas station, the guns.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I've never seen that movie.
Really?
I've never seen that movie. No.
Yeah. It seems to be back in the zeitgeist now. People keep talking about it. I keep seeing it. I don't know if it's one of those confirmation bias things because I'm aware of it again. I've been more aware that people are talking about it, or if it's just
it's like weird. Yeah, it's like when you buy a new car and then everyone has it, right?
Yeah.
I just want to give an update. The whole reason I'm on the show is to get Frank to follow me back on Twitter, and he did. So I'm gonna go.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
see you, Joe.
All right.
You guys.
Yeah.
Real.
All right. Yeah. Right on.
Thanks.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
that's the perfect time to do the intro. So welcome everyone. Oh, you did?
The intro.
We are back. Yeah.
Episode 27.
We're back.
Episode 27. You're up to 27 already.
Already, we've been taking our time.
This is year 3, episode 27.
Yeah. You know, I gotta thank you guys because you're one of the only podcasts I can really follow with any degree of consistency because you release so few episodes that it's not like a my show where it's like 1 3-hour slog every week, like disgusting. But
you know, it's not about, for us, it's not about the quantity, it's about the low quality, you know?
Right. Not only do we release them pretty
rarely,
intermittently, they're also really bad.
It's like a Yugo. We're the Yugo of podcasts.
Dice Dome, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. 2 years of friendship. Thank you so much for that. So I have to say, I need another Ranty award. I'm not going to do the Ranties this year, but next year. I want to give you guys the best podcast award.
No, that's a bad idea.
No. The episode where you're hammered off your ass and you had the inception, the fucking foghorn. And now I know that doesn't really narrow it down. The air horn, the rap battle, like bat 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 bat. Like
yeah, the Jamaican horn. Yeah.
Isn't that the same episode where he's shouting numbers at me?
Yeah, it was the only episode I recorded from a tournament, and Jacob wasn't physically with me. So.
Damn near crashed my car. I was at work. I was driving, and there was that point where like the joke stops being funny, right? But then, if you keep hammering on the joke, it goes all the way back around to hilarity. And there had been a little bit since you did it. And then, like, you just, like, just fucking, and I, like, fucking laugh. I, like, jerked the wheel because I was, like, and I had to fucking slam on the brakes and, like, make emergency, like, stop. It was so fucking funny. So, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't listen to Rage of Sigmar at work anymore because it's become hazardous.
Too dangerous.
Yeah, too dangerous. Oh, man.
If there's a way to describe our podcast, I would say it's that we're repeating a joke until it's not funny, and then it becomes funny again, which you will not see coming.
Yeah, and frankly, it's going to get unfunny again, but it'll come back again eventually.
Right, yeah, just for however long it takes. I guess, how do you do episode topics and stuff like that? Because I know you don't? No? No, you just decide, like, okay, hey, like, let's record an episode? Is that really just... Is it just friendship porn?
It's been 6
porn.
weeks and we haven't recorded something. Do you want to, instead of talking on Discord or talking on the phone this Saturday, do you want to just do an episode?
Yeah,
so,
like,
I don't know if you know this story.
this is a good
Andrew.
story. I like this story. This is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah,
it's not one of my top
Joe.
5 favorite stories. But one of my
It's
favorite stories.
It's a good one. So before we started the podcast, Joe was a little AOS curious. And we would talk on the phone whenever either of us was commuting and driving, probably
which was often.
Yeah, super often, right? Like
3-4 times a week.
I was gonna say 1 to 2 times a day, but
no, that was after we started the podcast.
You're right. And so we would pretend that there was an NSA agent listening to our phone calls, and we started pretending to be doing a podcast on the phone. So before there was ever a recorded podcast, we were doing a podcast. And I like to call those the lost tapes because we'll never see them again. And it was easily the funniest we've ever been. We had lots of friends. I had sex with so many porn stars. But it's tough because we forgot to hit record.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what's crazy is like people who like our show and they're like, "Oh, you guys are so funny." They would be really depressed if they knew how much material we threw out just
Oh
because
my
we did
God.
it off the air.
Well,
We
Or like when we're in
Kind of like the cold open.
I get so angry. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, kind of like the cold open today that we didn't record.
Yes,
that was on me. That was on me.
We had a 40-minute conversation of like doing Curse City and the
Oh my
Prisoner
God,
of
it was so
Azkaban,
good.
and it was just we were just listing Curse City
We were riffing on movie and book titles that involved Curse City. So it'd be like
yeah, and it was like a long conversation. Like it was probably 35 minutes of us just saying Curse City and this and like
Curse
we're
City
like
Attack of the
married with
Clones.
kids and like and like our wives are just rolling their eyes to the back of their skull like
But we're
because
laughing.
me and Jacob were just giggling on the phone like Curse City and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Curse City. Oh, we built Curse City on rock and roll. It's just like so funny. It's so funny. We had so much fun. So all right, this bit is getting old. All right.
Yeah.
The microphone bit.
Yeah, it's oh no, where's it going? Oh Jesus, maybe it's not getting old. Let's stay like that.
Cover more of your face.
Yeah, I like the sunglasses. I liked it more full in the face, but
It was I felt like Darth Vader, right? It's kind of.
Would you say Darth Vader or would you say Darth Darth Tater? You look like a famous painting. You need a bowler hat. Pretty big. It looks pretty big.
Yeah, it's big. That's what she. That's never what she said.
That's,
All right.
that's what I like about you.
How's that better? Is that better? Do I sound good, guys? Do I still sound good? I'm like,
You
does
look a
Frank
little,
message
you look
me
like
on
you're
Twitter again? Do I sound
weary.
good, Frank? Frank, I need to know if I sound good, Frank.
All I care about
my
is your
friend.
approval of my sound quality, Frank. Please,
yeah.
please tell me the sound quality is good because there's
my-
nothing else good
my
about this
pop-
show but the lighting
my
and
pop-
maybe the sound quality.
The pop filter got loose. Hang on, I gotta tighten it. I won't say too many p words. Pumpkin pie.
You know,
pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me just adjust this.
Tip of the
seat
lips,
here.
the teeth, the tongue. Tip of the lips, the teeth, the tongue.
Well, mine was ours was many mumbling mice are making midnight music in the moonlight.
What?
Gesundheit.
Fuck did you just say to me?
Many mumbling mice are making midnight music in the moonlight. Mighty nice, and then just many mumbling, and you just you just say it over and over and over again.
I was referencing Letterkenny, but that's okay.
I must not have gotten to that episode yet. I'm only like about halfway through season 1. They just did the fart book or whatever, I think is what they did.
Classic
So-
fart
Yeah.
book.
I
Yeah.
thought I was watching that show, but then it turned out I was watching Number Freddy.
How did you make that mistake?
Letterkenny, Number Freddy.
Yeah,
come on.
okay, yeah, just it sort of rhymed, and you're like, yeah,
It doesn't rhyme. It's thematic. It's synonyms.
yeah.
Yeah. Cinnamons are words
what are we
that
doing?
are not the same,
Cinnamons?
but
Yeah,
mean-
cinnamons
yeah.
are words that, yeah.
Yeah. Or does it mean the same thing?
Synonyms are same.
I thought it was
Antonyms
fun.
are opposite, and contronyms are contradictory terms, like literally.
I always thought cinnamon went on French toast.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I will say
I worked on them all day.
cinnamon is definitely one of my top 5 lap dances that I've gotten at a Warhammer tournament.
Killed it. She killed it.
Was
Walk
this
the
at
walkout.
Bruce City? Was Gold Standard or whatever the hell it is? Because it tied
Bruce
to the.
City, Bruce City was awful. Bruce City, I lost a piece of my soul on that couch. But I was already only at a fraction.
Ty has that couch at his house now, right?
He must have. I mean, he paid so much money.
That's a beautiful thing. So what are we talking about? Okay, you know what? I have a rant. I'm on RantCast and I have a rant.
Oh my! All right.
Oh,
All right.
He's gonna say it. Oh.
People of the chat. How many people are in the chat? 6?
7.
Fucking killing it. All right, all 70. Do not buy a coffee grinder on the internet. I have purchased 3 coffee grinders this week. 3. That's too many, right? Who buys 3 coffee grinders? I want fresh roasted beans in the morning. I cannot live without fresh ground espresso. My name is Joseph Mario Pagano. Don't think I drink regular coffee, bro. It's
These are his stories.
cappuccinos, little cups, hand out like that, little lemon twist. I want it all, right? So
Do you do the latte art on your own latte?
yes, every time. It's usually a dick. So I bought a coffee grinder. I've been using pre-ground espresso like a fucking peasant for the last.
God,
2
Jesus,
years.
how do you live?
It's disgusting. It's like I might as well be drinking fucking Folgers, you know? And it's the worst part of waking up. It's depression in a cup.
See,
right?
we have different takes on this, but finish yours.
No, so check this out, right? I buy a coffee grinder from who do you think I buy it from? Like a schmuck, like a fucking
Bezos, fucking Bezos,
from Chef Bezos. Chef Bezos. He sold me a coffee grinder.
Chef Bezos.
It comes in one day because you know what? I pay for Prime because I don't know. I'm fucking a hypocrite because you know
a huge hypocrite.
I'm a huge hypocrite. That's what it is. I love convenience and I hate myself.
Yeah.
So
and the planet and the planet
and I don't know whatever. But I love coffee. So coffee grinder comes. I have a half chub, maybe even 3/4. I'm like, yes, my coffee grinder's here. I'm gonna have some fresh roasted beans in the morning before work. It's gonna be beautiful, right?
You actually did a little dance when you got that in the mail, didn't you?
I was like, oh yeah.
I bet you did.
I was coffee grinding. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. All right. So then this coffee grinder comes, right? And I open the box, and when I open the cardboard box, this is not the box that the grinder is in. The box that the box is in, right? Some black shit falls out. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I open the box that the coffee grinder's in. The second box. What's in the fucking box? A dirty
What's in the
fucking
box? Yeah.
A dirty fucking coffee grinder. It was disgusting. Someone had purchased a coffee grinder, ground coffee in it, and then returned it to Amazon, thinking that they were the best grifter in the world. But little does anyone know that this grift is common because I call Amazon and I'm like, hey, you know, you guys sent me a fucking coffee grinder that was fucking dirty and I ain't like it. So you got to give me a new one. Send me a new coffee grinder, and I'll send you this one. It could be an honest mistake. Maybe someone sent it back to return. It got back put on the wrong shelf, and then it got sent to me. I don't mind. I don't care. Things happen. I'm not trying to get someone fired. Boom, second coffee grinder comes. I open it up. What do you think happens?
Is it also used? I hope it's used as well.
Someone had ground cumin inside of it. It was filled with cumin. And it was missing missing the grinder part. Like there was like a little cap. So I'm like, what the fuck? This is the second one. What the fuck? I call Amazon again and I'm like, you know, I'm not rude to customer service employees. They didn't pack the fucking package. No. So I'm like, hey, you know, the strangest thing happened to me. You're not gonna believe this. Twice, 2 times in the same week. Literally a day apart. They're both fucking dirty. What's going on with this? The girl's like, oh my God, that's awful. She's like, I'll send you another one. I said, please don't. I don't want it. Please do not send me another one. She's like, why don't you buy a different one? I was like, no, I'm not buying a different one for you guys because I'm an asshole already from buying it for you and trusting it twice. But I remember being at work the whole day yesterday going like, you think that new one's going to come and be fucking dirty too? And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm so upset about it, right? So today, I'm like, all right, I go to Target. I figure, fuck. You know, it's the same shit as Amazon, just with the prettier colors and like $10 more on prices. So I buy a coffee grinder and I get it at Target and I'm holding it in my hands. So I'm leaving the store and I'm like, I should look in the box. I should look in the box. I should look in the box. And I'm like, no, don't look in the box. Don't look in the box. You're going to look weird. They're going to think you're doing something shady. I don't know. I have anxiety sometimes. So I was like, I don't know, whatever. So I drove home. I'm driving my car. I'm like, I'm actually on the phone with a good friend of ours. His name is Jawan Noah Singh. Amazing squig player, amazing, and it's crazy. He's a great guy. I love him. He's in Maine right now. He probably doesn't have any internet, so he's not watching this because they don't have internet in Maine yet. I get home, I open the coffee grinder, and it's clean. I breathed a sigh of relief. It was like my body shuddered. I was like, oh. So I ground some coffee, right? I'm so excited. I brew it. I make a nice cup of coffee. I sit down at the table with my wife and my daughter. I'm going to have a nice cup of coffee. I'm showing my wife this fucking model I painted today. This fucking I'll show you it. Look, it's a vampire. There it is. Right?
Nice.
I fucking painted this vampire. I'm like, babe, look at this fucking vampire right here. And as I take it back, my elbow hits the cup of coffee and I knock it all over myself. I didn't even get to drink any fucking coffee. It was a 4-day ordeal. I didn't have any coffee yet. I've been through hell. Holy shit.
Oh, man. So, a couple things. First off, there is a special hell set aside for people who are rude to folks on customer service. Like...
Or just rude to anyone who's not being rude to you first, right? Like, that's it.
Well, like, people call up customer service and they start, like, half-cocked and, like, ready to, like, just rage at the person. Like, come on now. Like, working in a call center is one of the worst things on the planet. It's
Agreed.
There's a Palinok book. It's Doomed Damned is the series, and like there's a section of hell that is basically a call center, and like they just work in a call center with dirty diapers and garbage everywhere, and I'm like, yep, that would be my idea of hell. But you should talk to AOS Coach about coffee grinders and stuff like that. I know he's a big coffee connoisseur. Yet another thing y'all have in common.
You know what's really funny is you should
not Coach.
Oh no.
Come on.
I'm not trying to hate on Anthony or anything, but like Sydney isn't really the coffee mecca of Australia if you talk to the guys from Melbourne. So and I talk to the guys from Melbourne every day.
Yeah. All the
every
time.
day.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam Morgan.
Is this how the gang war started? Is like over coffee?
No. It started off over Coach being anti-Semitic.
Ow! Wow. Okay. There's a big.
No, it's real. We're gonna go there. We can.
I prefer not to.
All right, we won't.
Not this episode. No. That's
not this episode. Yeah, you didn't want too much controversy.
Yeah, not.
You could count on to start international fucking beef.
Yeah.
We're honest war gamers,
Yeah.
So we'll be honest with you about why it's kind of the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. If you want to know, I'll tell you. I'll tell you outside of the episode. If anyone wants to message me, I can send screenshots.
Yeah.
I don't have them saved in my phone.
I can get them
on a backup disk.
Oh.
Yeah, I can get them.
Yeah. So you kept the receipts.
Yeah, exactly. But so.
Oh wait, I want to interrupt Jacob. Speaking of keeping receipts, I know this dude who's a total piece of shit I grew up with. He's a total racist fuck, this scumbag, and he's an NYPD police officer now. And I have screenshots. I am ready for the first time he fucking kills somebody or gets like caught up in some police brutality bullshit. I'm fucking sending that to all the newspapers. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want to name drop him real quick, Joe?
Yeah, Chris Levy.
Just like a character assassination.
It's not even character assassination.
Episode.
He did it himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I mean,
he did it himself.
No one to blame but himself.
Right.
So anyway, Andrew, thanks for coming on our show. We're gonna do a quick segment that I like to call Top 5.
Yeah,
Top 5.
So Joe and I prepared some top 5s about our favorite topics in AOS.
Did you get the show notes, Andrew?
I didn't. Sorry, I don't do anything nearly as professional as that.
I sent you guys the show.
Did you? Did you send the show notes? They must have got lost in the mail. Probably with your fourth coffee grinder somewhere.
A different Andrew. Son of a bitch. Whatever. He's gonna be confused.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Joe and I like to write top 5 lists about our favorite topics. So my top 5 is about my favorite models that Joe has ever painted.
Oh, let me hear it.
So number 5 is his Khorne blood altar.
Ooh, really? A piece of
choice. Yeah, his blood altar is really good. It's got the non-metallic gold all throughout. The orange really pops. You've got that blue that shine the freehand on the blue. Yeah. Pat yourself on the back, Joe. You did a fucking great job. Awesome. And for all of you audio listeners, you can't see it, but Joe is holding up the model right now, and it's just fucking stunning. Number 4 is his bird thirster. He made a blood thirster out of Magnus the Red.
It's not even finished, and it's one of your favorites. That's beautiful.
It's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool. He's got this giant swingy whip and a big old axe on his hip. It's fucking awesome. What's the skull from, Joe?
The skull is actually from Magnus. That's from Magnus.
No kidding.
Yeah, and there.
The more you know.
He needs some more work, but he'll get.
Does he? I think he's fucking great. Such a good conversion. Number 3. And this is sort of a cop-out because it's a number of different things, but it's everything you've done for Cursed City so far. So your Halbrecht City Watch Captain,
thank you.
These
can all be
Witch
found
Hunters.
On my Twitter page as
a Hymen of Serpents. Hymen of Serpents. Yeah, they all look fucking great. His zombies have a cool pastel look to them. Yeah, and fucking wonderful. Number 2 is your Prince Duval from the Underworld's vampire set. Just finished today. Hasn't even hit Twitter. I got the inside track. It's so fucking good. The corpse paint on his eye, and like the way you did the empty eyeball with like the white looks so fucking cool. The leather.
Chat gang is calling for links.
You can just search my Twitter at a hymn of serpents.
Yeah. Do the legwork, bitches. We're in the middle of recording.
Come on, you can like, follow, retweet, and do a brother a favor.
Yeah. Hook a brother
so
up.
What's number one? I really need to know what.
Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess what number one is?
Of all of the models I've ever painted, which one is your favorite? Out of all the models I've ever painted, I have no idea.
It's your fish hunter frigate.
Oh, my ironclad?
Is that the ironclad? No, the fish hunter.
Dreams.
Yeah, the chase your dreams.
On my Twitter too.
It's that's so fucking good. So he got this 3D printed big old I guess guppy looking fish, and then the ironclad is chasing it, and it's the ironclad is made for, not the ironclad, the frigate is made from all sorts of other weird spare bits. So all of his KO is themed as underwater and submarines and stuff, and it's super fucking cool because it attaches with a metal rod to the guy that's actually on the base, so it's going to be so fucking hard for you to play with, but it's so cool.
I'm going to break everything with that model.
Just grab empty bases. That's all you can do. Bring the model and then swap it out for an empty base when you have to get it engaged with something.
It's gonna look so good in your.
I don't think it will be
running away pile.
The problem is gonna be playing on the table with it because your hand's gonna hit it.
Yeah.
So I have a top 5 list here.
Did you do one?
My top 5. Yeah, I did 3.
Nice.
So
there you go.
We got at least 2 hours to go before Andrew gets to talk again. These are my top 5 favorite times Jacob drank too much.
Here we go.
All right, so I was there for 4 out of 5 of these, but I'll start with the one I wasn't there for. Number 5 is a story of the when you did your kangaroo court and you went up to Twain Hart. So we used to be in a club that had a club getaway once a year. We'd go to Twain Hart in California. Our friend Mike, he owned a house up there, and they would do, when you got into the club, they would do a kangaroo court. And if you don't know what a kangaroo court is where they accuse you of ridiculous and unbased or even things that are true about you. And if you're found guilty of them, you have to take a shot. So Jacob showed up about an hour and a half late, 2 hours late or something to his kangaroo court, got hammered with he brought a tray of fried rice, like a fucking giant tray of fried rice. And then he promptly, after his kangaroo court, when he was too drunk, he threw fried rice at everyone and then vomited in our friend Ed's $500 shoes, inside.
I fucking filled him up.
He looked like he was looking for something to throw up in, and he found a shoe, a really nice leather shoe, and threw up inside of it. So that's Jacob right there. So this number 4 is at Jacob's bachelor party. There's a couple stories from Jacob's bachelor party in here, but Jacob Berry. We went to a drag queen brunch, and bottomless mimosas were $15. So we drank $1 mimosas. We had 15 mimosas in one brunch, and then Jacob promptly attempted to twerk on the wall with his leg.
Attempted.
He successfully
twerked. Yeah.
He did a handstand twerk with his feet on the wall in a really nice restaurant that did a drag queen brunch, and the bouncer was like, "If you fucking do that again, I'm tossing you from here." That's my number 2. That's my number 4.
Number 2 or number 4?
Number 4. Number 3 is when he slapped Joe Cryer in the face at a Decathlon.
I haven't even heard this one.
Oh fuck, yeah. Joe Cryer.
Joe Cryer was just having a friendly conversation with a very drunk Jacob Berry. Berry assaulted him.
It's actually one of the things, of all the things I've done while drunk, that's one of the things I regret the most.
So
are you a bad drunk? I've encountered you a couple times loopy, but not there are bad drunks out there where they're just fuck.
You don't know what you're gonna get. That's the best I'll say. And neither do I. I don't know what you're gonna get.
Russian
and I'm not really there for it,
Yeah.
You'll tell me what happened the next day, but I wasn't present.
Yeah,
what an asshole.
You're a little bit like my buddy Keegan, who we call his drunken alter ego Blackout, because he just wakes up the next day and once he hits that certain threshold, he is no longer himself. His alter ego steps in and takes over. He has
like that a couple times. I use that mostly as a responsibility shield.
Yeah.
So I'll tell the story really fast because I have so many top 5 favorite things about Jacob.
Go on.
But when he slapped Joe Cryer, I'm standing in the convention hall, and it's late. Like, we had played day one. We were all kind of drunk, except Joe Cryer, because he doesn't drink. And maybe Rob Symes was there and sober or whatever. And there were...
Yeah, he's straight edge.
There's probably like
Nerd.
six sober people in the hall, and 2 of them are of age. And I turn, and I look, and Jacob's maybe like 50 feet away from me, and I just see his arm move, and I hear like a... And Joe Cryer's like... And I'm like, oh my God, he just hit Joe Cryer. And then I was like, so I'm like going towards him, like something's going to happen. I'm like, no, Joe Cryer isn't going to fight him. No one's going to fight for Joe Cryer either. So that was that.
Joe Cryer certainly won't. I'll womp.
Right after that, my number 2, Jacob passed out at the bar. And I'm like, come on, dude. Our hotel was across the way. We had to go around the lake. You know, Andrew, you've been there, right? You've been at Adepticon. You know,
Yeah.
The second hotel.
Yep.
Okay. So it's like you got to go through this parking lot. It's March. We're outside of Chicago. It's cold out, you know. And Jacob's
fucking
in basketball
freezing.
shorts.
Was it raining?
It was raining. Jacob's in basketball shorts and this T-shirt. That's it, right? And he's not in basketball shorts. He's actually in corn leggings and that shirt. Right?
Corn leggings, like
corn leggings, the ones that
Yeah.
GW sells, the ladies' pants that are made for corn.
yeah.
Not corn like the thing you eat or the really.
No, I was thinking like it was made out of like corn husks. You know, he's trying to be green.
Cool. Cool. So he's
so itchy.
He's passed out at the bar, and I'm like trying to wake him up. I'm like, yo, let's go back to the hotel. We're super drunk. He just gets up. He like looks at me like one of these, like, and he leaves. He leaves. So I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta follow him. I follow him out. I don't even think I paid my tab. We walk outside, and it's raining, and he just starts running. He starts running. So I'm like out of shape. I was like pretty heavy at the time. I'm like jogging behind him. I'm like, oh God, I'm too fat for this shit, you know? And he gets to the lake, and he just starts running around the lake away from our hotel. And he's on the other side of the lake. I'm standing there like, oh my God, this idiot. It's so cold out. It's raining. And I just hear from across the lake, and we are back. And it just keeps going. And it's just it was so funny. And then my number 1 favorite drunk memory of Jacob is he lost his shoes on Bourbon Street in a bar.
Not a bar.
A bar.
That's nice of you.
After
A couch sales.
after
A late night couch sales
Yeah.
location.
after vomiting on a server, and then he slept. He slept shoeless, fly open on the ground of Bourbon Street. 2 days after Mardi Gras ended. I can't even believe you're alive still.
Honestly, it's luck. It's
You have-
just pure dumb luck.
You have so much in
and
common
really
with
good friends.
you have so much in common with my friend Keegan. It's not even funny. Like he like there might be like, are you Blackout? Like, are you Blackout's third alter ego? I mean, it's not my story to tell, but one of our favorite Keegan stories is
I'll tell it anyway.
I'll tell it anyway. Is one of the times like he basically got held up by like a prostitute, and she robbed him, but she felt so bad for him because he was so hammered, and he must have been some kind of way that she called him a cab and paid the cab to get him home, and he gave the cabbie the wrong address.
What a legend!
Legendary.
Oh my God!
No, so first of all, where does the "We Are Back" come from? It's like the calling card. Is it just like you started doing it one day, you thought it was so fucking funny, you kept going like?
It was from when we would call each other. Anytime we answered the phone when the other was calling, we answered with "and we are back."
Really?
Because we were pretending to have a podcast.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for like 5 years.
This is where it's just like I mean, catchphrases are I hear they're big in the podcast world.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch bits. We have like the same 6 bits that we're running all the time.
Yeah, like your top 5
over
list.
and over. And well, speaking of, I'm glad you brought that up. My next top 5 list is the top 5 things you might not know about Joe Pagano. So number 5 is his favorite drink is a Bullet Old Fashioned. I know you're drinking it with peanut butter whiskey right now.
But yeah, Bullet is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Bullet bourbon, really? Yeah.
Bullet
Okay,
bourbon.
right on. It's
It's a good mixer. Like it's
a good mid-tier.
not good enough that you feel bad mixing it.
Yeah.
But it's good enough that it really adds to the
It's
drink.
you know, it's the one that everyone has. You don't want to fall in love with a whiskey that's too good or too rare, or a bourbon that's too good or too rare, because you're not going to be able to get it anywhere.
I go to Maker's Mark. I go to Maker's Mark for a similar reason. Like if I'm in a bar and I usually go with a whiskey sour or a bourbon sour.
If I hate myself, I would drink that too.
I go with bourbon.
I
go with bourbon sours, and they're like, they'll be like, "Oh, what is it?" Or what are you drinking? Well, there's two traps with like wanting to drink good bourbon. You have no idea what a local bar across the country that you end up in charges for their fucking top shelf bourbon,
or even medium shelf.
Yeah.
No,
so
I've been places in the city where it's like $70 for a glass of good whiskey or scotch, and you're just like, I'm not paying that tonight, man.
Yeah. So I do Maker's Mark.
I actually paid $125 for a glass of whiskey once out to dinner with Margot.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my
god. They had Pappy Van Winkle on the menu, and I was like, oh, you don't see that very often, and it didn't list a price, and I was like, whatever, I'm getting it. I'm gonna get a double Pappy Van Winkle, and the bill shows up, and it's $250.
It's like more than your food was. Oh my gosh.
Significant, like more than our food for the week was.
Yeah, I had
was like, did you really just fucking do that? I was like, well, it's already inside of me now, so you can have it back.
I had a McCollum, like 20 or 30 year McCollum or
CJ McCollum,
the good one. There's two, like, because there's like a parody brand that's like sells roughly at the same price, but it was like a 20 year. It was really high end at DC when it was all being paid for by the company I was working for at the time. I'm like, oh yeah, give me, like, what's your most expensive? I literally, like, give me your cheapest your cheapest finest, beer or whatever. Like, this was like, no, what is the most expensive whiskey you have here? And they're this.
I'll have your finest wine. It's gonna be this one. It's $300 for a bottle. I'll have your $8 bottle of wine.
Right. All right. Sorry. I interrupted the rant with a rant within a rant. It was rantception. Go on.
That's number 5. Number 4, what you might not know about Joe Pagano, he's a really terrific cook. He sends pictures. So another fun story, Joe and I would send each other little videos of us making breakfast and singing along with, as like the bacon is sizzling, we would sing about it. It was pretty fun.
You're a straight up storybook couple. Like, you're a sitcom couple. Like, it's so, like, it's almost sickening how, like, real this is, that you're this. Like, I know there's bits involved, but, like, the best friendship that, like, blossomed at a wedding and all the, like, the story that we hear, and this is
the third time we've talked today.
It is. Like, I'm simultaneously, like very, like, happy and, like, that such a relationship exists, but also kind of sad because I don't have a friendship like this in my life, and so, like, I feel, like...
I'm really sad. I'm really sad that more people don't have a Joe Pagano in their life. But also, I'll say, go get fucked, bud. Get your own best friend.
You know what's really funny is, like, what you have, like, you feel bad, but, like, does your wife like you? Because ours don't.
Yes. Yeah. My best friend is my partner.
Definitely like. So my wife likes Joe a lot more than she likes me,
which
is why I know she's the right person for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to talk to anybody in the world about anything except about how great Joe Pagano is.
All right.
True.
Sometimes I try to tell her stories about things you've done, and it's not as funny. And then I'll, like, get a text from Joe, and I'll laugh, like, what was it? I'm like, it's Warhammer drama that Joe sent me. Do you want to know? She's like, no, just go have fun.
The things we put our significant others through with Warhammer. Like, you either can script them into Warhammer, or you just accept that part of your life is over here and your partner's over there.
Speaking of, big shout out to Dayton Obrey. He's really put in the effort to get his wife Nicole Obrey into the game, and she's
killing it.
Fucking awesome. I'm really loving that she's, like, playing in TTS tournaments and building this fucking Ideneth army. Also, she's way funnier than he is, so I really hope that she, like, fully takes over his podcast and kicks Jeff off.
Yeah, like, Rocco, your girl is... I'm sorry, Rocco, you watching this back or listen to this later, buddy, but your wife is the far more, like, entertaining person on the microphone. Like, she's worked in theater shows, she commands a microphone.
Also true for Danny Carroll, even though Danny is very funny and handsome and talented. His significant other, Ash, is, like, she was on our show. He tried to make a joke out of it. He was going to come on our show, and he gave the mic to Ash, and she, like, bantered with us for an hour. and it's the best hour of podcasting we've ever had.
Yeah, that was Rocco's mistake too. Is he had his wife come on, and then it was like okay, now this is the Rocco's show. So that was good stuff.
Yeah. But Joe used to send me photos of, anyway, back to my top 5 list. Let me talk about myself and my love for Joe Pagano. He would send me pictures of like shakshuka that he had made for breakfast. He once, when he was here for NashCon 2 years ago, he cooked a fettuccine Alfredo that was like from scratch. It was fucking unreal, amazing. And it hurt me so badly that fettuccine Alfredo was so good, because if it's done properly, it really doesn't reheat well the next day at all, because the cream and the butter.
Well, yeah, because they separated. Yeah, because you have to make the sauce with the cream and butter basically, and you throw Parmigiano Reggiano in it. And...
Yeah, so he cooks with more cheese and butter than like Paula Deen, but he's also, and this is part of the top 4 things you might not know about him, he's also pretty painfully lactose intolerant.
It's true.
Maybe it's painful for him, but it's more painful, I think, for his family, because they have to be around him while he's just like farting and shitting everywhere.
Well, like, are you? So some people can do milkshakes when they're lactose intolerant. Can you do milkshakes, or is it just everything's off?
That's my kryptonite. I'll just die. Soft serve ice cream goes in, right?
The same way it goes out.
No, it's hot when it comes out. It's like probably 13 minutes after I eat it. It's just like straight through.
It's like a fucking. It's like you're a fucking rocket ship burning up an Atmo, and it has to jettison like the back half. It just
comes out. It's like if you could imagine like the opposite of a frost machine, like it's like the same color and all, but like just like. I mean, if they pull the lever and it's hot, it's spiraling. It's coming out.
You're shitting a twist cone.
This leads into the fun fact number 3 about Joe, because it's a good story. Is he's an incredibly loud vomiter. Like unbelievably loud. It sounds like he's practicing karate and doing a ki, and then there's a splatter. And the way I learned this was at my bachelor party.
This is a good weekend, yeah.
Yeah, it was a fucking amazing week. I never want to go back. I'm a fraction of a man that I used to be.
Yeah.
So we go to this place that's like known for their burgers and their it's like a pineapple hurricane.
Yeah.
And they do bake these like great baked potatoes, and Joe gets a baked potato and puts on all of that's what it was, the pineapple hand grenade. And which is like a dairy-based pineapple.
No, it's not dairy. It's like all pineapple juice. And
there we go.
Vodka and like curacao.
Yeah. And then Joe got
one of those dangerous drinks. Like,
and he put probably like half of a container of sour cream on this baked potato.
I usually eat a lot of sour cream. Like, I've ordered a burrito at Chipotle, and I've literally told the woman, you can ask Tony Pacheco and Chad Pond, Tony Pacheco from War Scroll Builder. I told the woman in Sacramento, I want you to be worried about me. I swear to God. I was like, I want sour. Can I get a lot of sour cream on that? And she's like, how much? I was like, I want you to be worried about me.
That might be my best way to order a topping ever. Oh my God.
Like, I need you to be physically concerned.
That's how much.
I need you after this to go talk to your manager, because you're worried about the liability of giving me that much sour cream. So we eat. We're drinking the whole day. We're walking, I guess, to like the next bar. And like there was more sour cream than baked potato. Like, you know the joke, like how much coffee do you want in your whiskey? Well, it was how much potato do you want with your sour cream? So we're walking to the next spot, and Joe's behind me, and I just hear him shouting and some splashing sounds going on. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I look, and he's vomiting, and it literally, here's what it sounds like. Ready? Ha!
Oh my God.
So yeah, number 3, Joe is incredibly loud.
Story though is we then went to the bar, and I kept drinking for like 6 hours. I was like, I need to hydrate, and I was getting Coors Light.
Hey, it worked for the Egyptians, right? Like,
Fuck it. I was a champion that night.
You always have been and you always will be.
Yeah, the puke and rally is a rare talent. I've only done it a handful of times. Like that my puke and rally skill goes on cooldown for like 2 years.
It depends for me. Sometimes I just get really sleepy, so like the rally part sort of goes away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, number 2. And this is the same weekend, while in New Orleans for my bachelor party.
Not your bachelor party.
Yeah, in 42 minutes. Joe found a cursed ring.
So he's found cursed swords, and now he found a fucking cursed ring.
The ring was first, but I did find cursed swords.
The ring was first. So we're staying at this like really weird house. It's like Dr. Seuss and MC Escher had like a threesome with awesome. A really bad
gallery. It was weird.
Awesome.
I'm surprised none of us hurt ourselves because there were so many sharp edges there.
Awesome.
What about when they stood on the edge of the roof?
Yeah, you were shouting down at the man with like a Jedi shirt, quoting Bane but talking about alcoholism and wearing a Red Riding Hood cape. It's one of my favorite memories of you.
Hang on, I'll bring up
But yeah.
Keep telling this story. I'll bring up the Instagram photo.
Joe, like among other things, Joe finds this ring, and I want to say it was like a really tacky fake ruby red ring or something, and he wore it for like a day or two, and a lot of bad things happened. So we decided it was cursed, and he. That's on the 3rd story rooftop like patio of this like weird bizarre home that we stayed in.
Amazing.
It also had shop windows in the front, so there were like these like mannequins and like glass
yeah, see, the mannequins is a no for me. That's where I'm like, yeah, we're getting fucking murdered in this place. Like
with a library in there, and I found all those karate medals. Remember?
I won
a karate tournament.
He like walked around with karate medals. Like, yeah, I won these in youth karate. Those 7-year-olds didn't stand a fucking chance.
It said like 2011 youth karate champion. I was like, yeah, I won this. Like, those fucking kids didn't stand a chance.
So anyway, Joe cast the ring out into the abyss, back from whence it came, and I'm worried that we need to find it again. Otherwise, it will find its way back to us.
I swear to God, if I ever wake up and that fucking ring is somewhere in my house, I'll kill myself.
No, you're gonna end up encountering some individual one day, like on the street, and like they're gonna say something super sinister to you before like gripping a cane, and you're gonna see the ring on the fucking thing, and you're gonna like do the double take, and then they're gonna be fucking gone, and then it's just gonna turn into a horror movie.
I bet you. Here's the thing: it's gonna be Chai, and you're gonna be playing him round 5.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. So what's number 1? Because these have all been amazing.
Yeah, these are pretty good.
You want to take a guess? Because it's going back to a story we've already told.
Favorite thing people don't know about me. I don't know. Go for it.
All right. My favorite thing about Joe that you might not know is that he is incredibly vindictive, but also incredibly fair. So the same night that I slapped Joe Cryer, after sprinting in circles around this lake, he and I are in the fucking elevator going back to the hotel room, and this is the other part of that night that I regret more than anything I've ever done in my life. Top 5, but that's a different list. I turn and I slapped Joe in the elevator, and he looks at me and he goes, "You're gonna fucking regret that." And I felt really bad because I knew he wasn't gonna fight me because I didn't know he wasn't gonna fight me, but I was like, I don't think he's gonna fight me. I've done shittier things, and this is also top 5, different list. And he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna regret this, but we're gonna go to sleep now." So this is probably like 1 a.m. and we're hammered after Adepticon. And Joe is a notoriously early riser, and I, when I'm drunk, need to sleep it off. So Joe's awake at 4:15, and he goes, "Jacob, wake up! Jacob!" He turns on all the lights in our room. "Jacob, wake up! We're gonna watch College Humor videos."
Told you were gonna regret slapping me.
I did. I woke up still so drunk and hungover. I wanted to die. He's like, "Nope, you're fucking staying awake, and we're watching Badman." And we watched so many College Humor Badman videos, and I regretted. I mean, I got what I deserved. And
have you gotten drunk and just arbitrarily slapped people since? Like, did you learn your lesson?
No, that was the first time. That was the first and last time I've ever done it.
Second time, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean that
that night. You just got something in. Well, you know, the way alcohol works is it's, you know, it basically like blocks off certain stuff. So if you're in some type of a headspace going in and then you get drunk, that shit is just going to stay with you throughout that like episode. So
this is a good segue because this brings me into the top 5 times I almost stopped being your friend.
Please tell me one of them is the pasta.
It's number 1. All right, number 5. Not being a groomsman at your wedding after I planned your bachelor party.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently. I was actually looking back at wedding photos. I was like, why the fuck wasn't Joe one of my groomsmen?
It's fine. You were one of mine.
I mean,
either.
let's really be honest. The question I was asking wasn't why wasn't Joe one of my groomsmen. The question is why was Sam my best man instead of Joe?
He's your brother.
It doesn't answer the question.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. So yeah, number 5 was that. Number 4 was the time that we were playing at Saws and you actually used tactics.
I did do that. But that was right after we had started the game with our dance deployment.
That's on another one of my top 5 lists.
Okay.
So dance deployment?
No, gotta wait for it. It's on a different top 5.
Okay.
So
did I use? Yeah.
Yeah, he put a unit in Warhammer Fantasy. He had a unit like set like this, and then he set like 2 of his other units off to the flanks that had a frenzy, so they had a charge. But if he didn't make the long bomb charge, they would only go like a half inch and stop because they couldn't come within an inch of one of his units. It was a genius play.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me so angry because I was bad at Warhammer Fantasy. Number 3 is the time you smacked me at Adepticon. Number 2 is the one sole time that we played Malifaux against each other.
It was how many times did I say gotcha? Well, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, that's what Malifaux is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know that at the time, Andrew. Mm-hmm. So I was new to the game, and I was like, "This game sucks." And number 1 is pasta salad, and pasta salad is we're at the last ever Warhammer Fantasy Battles 8th edition tournament. It was at the Alamo GT in San Antonio.
Yep.
And San Antonio, Texas, right? So we're at these food trucks. They're delicious. We're super drunk, and I travel light. You know, I'm a light traveler, so I brought with me 1 sole solitary pair of pants. That's it.
You're brave. I travel light too, but you gotta have the backup jeans. Backup jeans and basketball shorts, like mandatory.
I was a crust punk kid, dude. I think I went in the hot tub in
this
my
tracks.
underwear.
This tracks.
Yeah. So I show up to this. We're at this food truck venue, right? And we're getting delicious barbecue because we're in San Antonio, Texas, great town for barbecue. And I get off the truck. I have this a cup in my hand like this, like a Dixie cup, but a little bigger, like a red. Like a solo cup, filled with delicious pasta salad. So good. I don't even really like pasta salad. Their pasta salad was good. So I sit down at the table, put my food down, and my pasta cup, it's condensate, you know, it just slips right out of my hand. And I drop pasta salad all over my lap, and I'm so upset. I'm like, fuck, I only have 1 pair of pants. I clean myself up real good. I clean it off, and I see Jacob Barry coming in with a big smile on his face and a cup of pasta salad. And I'm like, yo, my best bud, he brought me some new pasta salad. I'm all happy, and he just comes and he dumps it in my lap.
You dick! Oh my god.
He was so angry.
Wow. That's some fucking Johnny Knoxville shit right there. That is brutal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm the worst. Well, don't worry. My last top 5 list is a bit lighter.
But before your top 5 list, you were in a hardcore band, weren't you, Joe?
No, I wasn't.
I was in a metalcore band, yeah. Metalcore. A couple metalcore bands, yeah.
What did you do? What did you sing? Vocals?
Vocals.
Yeah.
He's the lead singer.
Yeah, right on.
All right, so my final top 5 list. It's gonna go quicker. I saved the worst for last.
Guys, my wife just told me I'm so fucking loud.
All right. Well, I'll bring the noise and I'll bring the funk. All right. My last one is the top 5 voices or impressions that Joe does.
Okay.
So number 5, and this one's sort of a given because he's Italian, but Joe Pesci. His Joe Pesci is really solid. It's sort of, it's like, that's easy. All right. Number 4, Christopher Walken. I really like your Christopher Walken.
If you've watched us play Soulbound, you would have heard it.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
that was fucking fun.
You guys, Tomb King Tristan, Slanice, yep.
And Dan Unsupervised.
Yeah, right on. That was the actual best Soulbound show. That's why I had to TM the best damn Soulbound show, so no one, yeah, so I wasn't in your shadow again.
As always.
Right.
I mean, it's only going to get worse because Joe's going to paint vampires, and he's going to be the best damn vampire player.
That doesn't confront me none. Vampires are from my pleasures. I don't need a measuring stick against other people. Like, this has nothing to do with them. It's all about me. I'm literally in my own head most of the time anyway, just like making like machine gun noises as I push around my models. It's fine.
Yeah.
Are you playing Vampire the Masquerade? That's the only thing I've ever played.
Yeah, I've got
vampires and the machine gun.
I've got my there's my Dark Ages 20th anniversary edition.
You got the card game too. You're into the card game.
No, I don't have the card game. Helgi Mar, Iceland. Yeah, he's heavy into it. There's my V5, the Chicago by Night, and then I'm not fucking with the slipcase. That thing's hard to.
That's a classic. That's a fucking classic game right there.
Yeah, I got back.
Somewhere I heard about a lot of buzz around LA by Night.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's in that category of they have actual professional actors playing an RPG. So, like, for me, there's a lack of authenticity to that style in general. Like, I'm not interested what you can have professional actors do in a, heavily scripted by the guy who designs the game, type story. I like something more like what you guys are doing with, like, suddenly spending 1 hour talking about scat. Like, just...
It turned out well.
Yeah, it did. But the thing is, like, for me, I like the organic nature of RPGs, like the way the storytelling unfolds sort of organically and sort of in real time as a sort of shared experience. And when it's like these actors on there, it feels very modular. Like a very modular experience, and I don't particularly care for it, but everyone, but people love them. People love that shit, and so power to people who love that stuff. Like I'm slowly working my way through the LA by Night stuff, but like again, it's just like every now and then I'm like, okay, these are actors performing RPG, and it just, it's I don't know. Like I'm not the target. I'm clearly not.
It's a different experience.
Clearly, I'm not the target demographic. They're trying to make a TV show, and I'm like, I would rather just watch a TV show with actual fucking vampires in it. Go reboot that CW one or whatever.
Like True Blood?
No. True Blood's
fucking
fine.
Vampires, am I right?
Yeah. No, True Blood wasn't bad. Like, it gets shit on a bunch, but it gets, like, everything that women like tends to get made fun of a lot harder in pop culture than things that men like. Like, yeah.
50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah, like, Twilight comes to mind. Like Stephanie Myers deserves some shade for her, like, aggressive, lack of agency for her characters. But again, I've read far worse fiction targeted towards men. Do you remember G.I. Joe, that TV show, and all the boy shows that were just fucking 30-minute commercials? Like, we laud G.I. Joe and some of these things designed to sell toys in our own, like, sort of pop culture love of masculine identity and stuff like that. And then the minute women like a show with shiny vampires, we have to just, like, fucking destroy them. But we can't destroy them openly because we don't want to be called misogynists. We have to destroy the thing they love and by association them, right? Like, I fucking hate that. Whatever. True Blood wasn't that bad. It's whatever.
I like the season I watched.
Too much from the books, like everything HBO does, and like you got to use the book more as like a guiding line, and they just diverged a lot, right? So like characters were dead that were alive, and then characters were alive that were dead. And I mean, like, I'm all for Joe Manganiello. Like, I feel like no one knew who he was until he was a sexy ass ripped werewolf, right?
Right.
And you know what I mean, like, and it gave
also a big D&D nerd, by the way.
Yeah, he's a massive. His team.
He has a dungeon. It's a fucking real dungeon.
I bet he used that in his off time with Sophia.
His group is like Tom Morello and like Big Show and like all of these crazy like celebrities. It's so cool.
See, I like that a little bit better than like here's 5 actors playing. Like here's 5 celebrities who like I mean wrestlers are actors. Come on, but beyond that, it's like let's just get these personalities in a room and see what the fuck they do. That's more compelling to me than like 5 actors or whatever that are Matt Mercer's friends. Like whatever. But I'm sorry.
I knew we were going to get to the Critical Role hate eventually.
I don't hate Critical Role. It's I hate that they sell fucking VIP tickets that cost as much as a goddamn Super Bowl. Like that's garbage. They didn't start doing this proceeds to charity until after they caught hate from people like me. Like you're playing a RPG. What of the whatever, and you fucking charging people $300.
Yeah, well, and I here's what I'll say about that is number 3 on my top 5 Joe impressions list is his Gilbert Godfrey.
I have never done a Gilbert.
Have you not?
Nice segue. Nice segue.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, thanks for bailing me out. Yeah, there you go.
I got you. Number 2 is his Warner Herzog. Now you know why I texted you that.
Can we hear some of these?
No.
You're gonna do the last one. I'm gonna make you do the last one. Do you want to guess who it is?
Is it the Kiwi accent?
No, it's better.
What is it?
Nathan Prescott.
I can't do that on command. It just happens.
El Custer Goggins. You basically make him into a frog who.
El Custer Goggins. Rob, they're not our community. I can't do it. Tonight. Trying to Werner Herzog. I stared into the dark abyss, and it stared back to me. In the molten lava. That's kind of what he sounds like. He was in Star Wars.
Yeah, he was in that fucking. He's in the Mandalorian. There is the baby. Like.
Yeah, he's a weird dude. All right, let's wrap this up with my last top 5. Top 5 times Jacob made me realize that I want to spend the rest of my life with him.
Stop. Made me blush.
Number 5.
The best birthday gift ever.
Oh, it's your birthday on Monday.
It is.
Same as my grandma.
Same as my grandpa.
We're cousins.
Bromance intensifies indeed, Frank.
Dancing deployment at Saws. We danced, Andrew, for the entirety of the deployment phase of a Warhammer Fantasy Battles game, which is exhausting. We tried to dance for the whole game.
It was so difficult because everything's on trays.
You know,
it's not like AOS where sometimes use trays for convenience. Everything except for single models were on trays.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know, we brought up everything on this list already. Number 4 is fake podcasting.
I love that you fluttered your eyes there, by the way. That was a nice touch.
Fluttered my heart.
Number 3 is the way he laughs at my bad jokes.
Aw.
Every time.
Daw out of 10.
Thing.
I haven't heard one yet.
Number 2 is the way you support me as a person and help me grow. Number 1 is slapping Joe Cryer.
Man. Oh my god. Oh man.
That was perfect setup and payoff.
No, that was bracketing. That's what we call in the biz bracketing. You lead with the and then man, brilliant.
Yeah. All right, well thanks for Andrew for coming on. This has been a lot of fun.
Wow, cutting out of 1 hour, kind of soft. Have you guys ever played Mario Kart together? I'm curious. Has your relationship endured Mario Kart? No.
We've never played video games together. Period.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
From TTS, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, TTS doesn't count at all.
I would like to play drunk driving with you on Mario Kart.
Mario Mart?
Mario. Yeah, Mario. I don't know. It's
Mario.
It's Mario Kart.
Cario Mart.
Can you say Mario Kart?
Mario. The Mario Brothers.
Mario Kart.
Mario.
Like Muriel.
That's how it's pronounced.
Muriel. Like a Jewish lady's name.
Mariel.
Mariel Kart.
Merle Kart.
Are you talking about the game where you have a beer and you have to finish a beer per lap, but you can't drink and drive? You have to pull over and drink.
No, you need to finish a beer before the end of the round, before the end of the race.
No. So you're playing wrong. It's every lap you have to finish a beer, and you can't drink and drive. So you have to pull over and finish your drink.
So the way we played it is you couldn't hold the controller while you were drinking. So you didn't have to pull over.
Just get run over by Donkey Kong.
The controller down. And if you finish the race before finishing your beer, you were disqualified.
Yeah.
Which Mario Kart was this?
We were doing it on the Wii, so you had the whole wheel. It was fun.
I think my favorite Mario Kart was Double Dash.
I still, for me, it's still the SNES. The OG is still the best for me.
Sounds good.
There's a simplicity there that tells no lies. You know, like you are exposed in the original Mario Kart. You know, you hit fucking Rainbow Road. There's nothing to save your ass, but like 30.
Yeah, none of these fucking rails that you see on other games.
There is nothing. It's you and the black abyss below, and like the controls aren't particularly. You know, they're great. The SNES controller. There's a reason it's the template for all the controllers going forward, right? Like that's. You know, all the controllers following that template. But like, you know, the controls weren't particularly like fluid. They were good for what they were. But you're not on an analog stick with like extra control and shit like that. Your power sliding is your only way to gain extra speed. It's just unforgiving.
The closest Joe and I have come to playing video games together, aside from TTS, is him like talking to me about the plot of Red Dead Redemption after he was really sad about it, and then me using that as a chance to spoil for everyone that your horse dies at the end.
Oof. See the facepalm immediately. Amazing.
He's gonna have to revise one of his lists.
Oh man.
He's gonna have to revise the list of top 5 times that I made him question our friendship.
Horsey McHorseface, I miss you.
So I know you guys got kids and family and stuff and trying to get out of here, but what are your thoughts on the new edition?
We're not trying to get out of here.
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet? Like, I'm not sure if there's like a bat swooping in at Joe every time he does that, or like it's just the wife holding a bat
that way. You don't know her.
Didn't mean that. No, like a literal like bat hanging out. Whatever.
No, we've talked extensively about the new edition. We're friends with Sam Morgan, and I'm excited for more ways to use command points and command abilities, be it who gets to use them, and also more restrictions on how you use them. So, like, sometimes having a more open rule set actually makes for a less diverse play experience.
Yep.
And sometimes having more restrictions helps differentiate between high skill and low skill players.
Right.
This is what I was talking about with Warhammer.
This is what I was talking about with Mario Kart.
Right, exactly. But we're about you say that as a joke, but like fantasy battles.
Saying that as a very prescient statement.
Right. movement. The movement phase was so structured and so techy that the people who could knew how to use that and abuse that set them miles ahead of folks who couldn't do it. And I think that's going to be the same thing. There's going to be a real differentiation. Maybe between players, but also between armies that have ways to get buffs that aren't using spells, get buffs that aren't using command points and command abilities, so that when they do use command abilities, they can still stack and layer these bonuses. Because one of the rumors that we're hearing is a unit can't be the target of a command ability more than once per phase. Right, so like no more +1 save and rerolling saves.
Good.
No more rerolling hits and rerolling wounds.
Is this going to give? This is going to be a way for Ossiarch Bone Reapers to get a little bit of juice back, because then you could use multiple, conceivably, like RDP mechanics.
Presumably, yes.
Because not having charge reactions is a big penalty for.
It sort of depends on how a lot of that's worded, and that's the
Right.
stuff we don't know.
Right.
So what I think is good about the new edition is the
I know what you're gonna
shift.
say.
No, the shift is going to the meta shift is going to affect everyone's baseline quite a bit. I worry about when you hear about these like everyone getting battalions and the same battalions. I worry about things like battle line requirements because not all battle line is created equal.
Well, the battalions is such a have and have nots right now. You can tell what armies people were playing based on their reaction to the hearing battalions. Me, I'm like good. Like I didn't have any good ones to begin with, and people who hinge their lists on a battalion are like, "Fuck, table flip."
Yeah, well, I mean, I think since it's everyone getting it, it's not a big deal, right? Like there were some armies that you needed to play one of their battalions to compete with them. Right, like in Khorne, you needed to take Gore Pilgrims, or you wanted to take Tyrants of Blood, and even that, it wasn't a great army to play. But if you're playing Tzeentch, you know, you're like one drop with a change host, hooray! You know, that's how you play the game. That's not really fair. And change host is what 160 points. Tyrants of Blood's 140 points.
Isn't it 180?
Or 180?
It was 180.
Or 180. It's 180. Whatever it is. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter because like the Beast of Chaos ones are 160 points. None of them were good.
But they're so necessary for getting your god marks. So it's like, I mean, they need to have... Beast of Chaos needs a new book because I just don't think that book lives in 3.0 very well. With what I've heard.
While I am not going to make any strong speculations on what's going to be good and what's not going to be good in 3.0 because we won't have the whole list in front of us.
Yeah.
My personal money would be on Beast of Chaos getting legended.
Ooh.
I don't think they're going to exist in the game the same way that they have in the years past. I think what you're going to see Beasts of Chaos become is they're going to become Kragnos' army, and it's not going to be Beasts of Chaos anymore. It's going to be Beasts of Destruction or whatever you want to
That's
call
a pretty
it.
hot. That's spicy.
Because Beasts of Chaos lore is destruction.
You're not wrong. Their whole thing is they were the primal things that were here first, right? And they're
the forces of entropy, right?
Yeah, they don't necessarily even actively worship chaos gods so much. You know, it's a lot more the Conan the Barbarian thing where they're like, you know, Crom, give me power, what the hell with you? Like, you know, like they don't really, they're not all about like the destruction of order per se. Like destruction in general of shit, yeah. And like feeding blood to the fucking herdstone and shit. That's cool. But that's metal, you know, like that's...
They're more of a destruction army. So I think what you're going to see is, if anything, is going to be a beast release. It's going to be shifting beasts out of chaos into whatever Kragnos is, and that's going to be a direction. I don't think you're going to see that direction for a long time. I think that might be years out, but I don't think you're going to see Beasts of Chaos get a new book. I think you might see them get an update in a
changing direction,
GHB,
like a retcon or something like that.
Or a GHB. I think you might see them get it updated in GHB, but I think eventually all of those war scrolls would be legended. I'm
here for Beasts of Destruction. I'd be all right with that.
But
the only thing that makes me think they might not be legended is they did put them in Underworlds. Underworlds does sort of
but Underworlds is a season, so when the season's over, they stop making those models.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm just saying they haven't really made new models for things that they're planning on.
But fucking Blood Bowl has a ton of shit that doesn't exist in Age of Sigmar. Underworlds could become its own thing.
That's true.
That's something they've done with other games.
That's true.
Yeah.
Pour some out for Tomb Kings.
Tomb Kings
suck.
You know what I mean? Like,
and Tomb Dad's in chat here too.
It's all gonna eventually go one way or the other. And like, I love Beasts of Chaos. They're like super close to my heart from when I started. See, I never played them, but they were like iconic to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're the Monster Manual army. Like, you know, they're
same models from when I was 16. I'm 32 years old. It's the same fucking models, dude. Gore the same models.
Mm-hmm. But that's also true for ogres.
It's also
Seraphon.
Yes.
A lot of some of the Seraphon stuffs.
Agreed. But where does it fit?
From what I hear, and I don't know how well this is corroborated, like Seraphon were held aloft by the fact that they do well in America for sales. Like,
yeah, because fucking dinosaurs.
Right.
We all fucking grew up on Dinotopia and the Lost World Below and all that shit.
Yeah, or actual, that reality documentary called Dinosaurs. That recounted.
I saw a movie called Dinosaur.
No, where
2000.
not the mama, like, that the realistic depiction of what dinosaurs lived like.
Did they have feathers?
They had to eat moldy bread.
We ate crusts of bread in
Am
tubes.
Am I the only one who fucking remembers? You got the joke. All right, thank you, Chuck Egg. You got my back.
Come on, guys, we're gonna gaslight him.
Tell him it never existed. It's his fault for talking about Chuck Palahniuk earlier. Just gave me the idea.
Yeah.
Palahniuk?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. My brain is like a spider web of. The reason this show exists the way it does is, one, I'm ripping you guys off. I never wanted to actually talk about Age of Sigmar on my Age of Sigmar podcast, and two, it's just how my mind works.
Podcast?
Yeah, I know, it's weird. Apparently 94 episodes of this thing, so.
You're still talking like you're on your cast. We're recording this.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry, my mistake. I'm sorry. Sorry. So Rage of Sigmar. What is this, episode 27 of Rage of Sigmar?
14.
14.
One for every listener.
We're up to 18 viewers now, by the way. So
that's too many. You guys in your life,
man. You're still waiting on starting that intro, right?
No. I just I jettisoned the intro when
when we did the intro for you.
I leaned into your bit. It's when you're doing a live show, it's all about like.
I just wish I had done more top fives. That was really fun.
Top fives are great. Yeah.
The cold open.
No,
this is still
a 1 hour 21-minute cold open. There goes the bat.
You need to fucking stop talking about Lindsay that way. I will fly out to Milwaukee and fight you.
Okay, well, good luck.
I will get drunk and slap you and regret it for the rest of my life.
My ears are.
I don't think you'd regret slapping me. I think you'd feel pretty good about it.
Depends on where I slap you.
Ooh.
We'll see. No, like, I don't know. Like, you guys tend to have a pretty positive outlook on Age of Sigmar 2 on your show. And as far as, like, keeping it real, like, this is what you guys do on your own. We are on your show, obviously.
Right.
So.
Good catch.
Yeah, no.
So there's a thing that, like, me and Jacob are cognitively able to do, and that's to separate the poor business practices of Games Workshop and our love for the game. And Games Workshop's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, dude. They're gonna do scummy
something like $65 billion.
Jesus fuck.
Of IP. Yeah,
they're billion. By the way,
billion.
With a B,
billion
not
with a B.
They like to sell themselves. I think Rob's got his own take on what the greatest like Games Workshop sells you is. I think it's that they tell you they're a small game company. They are not. Well, it's small compared to Hasbro, fucking sure, but $65 billion is not a small company.
There's rumors that they're going to buy Wizards of the Coast. They make Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. I mean, GW is a powerhouse. They are the powerhouse. There is no competition. There is no one even metrically close to them. And
not in the specialty game market, not at all.
No, not in anything outside of video games. There's no one else.
Collectible card games, Wizards is bigger than them.
Are you sure of that?
Specifically, Magic the Gathering basically makes money for Wizards. D&D is a loss. Specifically, like Dungeons and Dragons is a loss, but Magic the Gathering, the whole thing, especially with Arena, what makes Games Workshop a lot more profitable company is their digital IP. They make more than half their money off of like Total War and Dawn of War and shit
video
like
game.
that.
They make a ton of money.
More than half of their money comes from the video game market. Well over half.
Well, all right. Let's talk about this, right? So, like, what a company at that sort of financial level has is they have a group of people that are going to make
investors
decisions that are only going to involve creating more revenue. They don't. It's just like, I don't want to say the guy's name. But there's a guy who posted about how, like, oh man, they put those diversity sprues in the guard, and it's proof that GW listens to the community and all this shit.
Jamie the Jasper.
Yeah.
They do it for the same reason Disney's doing it. Disney did the market research, and they're like,
don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about being PC. They don't give a fuck. The only thing they give a fuck about is making money, and that is something you have to understand about every capitalist corporation.
This is
corporation.
I have a very I think like I know like I know that like we've had a couple of those situations where like I like Twitter is not very good at catching tone. I think we'd have a great time hanging out, Joe, and like you and I have had like a couple of moments where like you didn't realize I was fucking with you because I'm a little bit more familiar with Jacob, and he just kind of busts my chops as evidenced by this show tonight. And so like I was busting your chops one night, and then like that had us in a little weird spiral. We're very much in alignment with what we view on certain stuff, or blue collar, pro union working slobs, right? Like, Games Workshop for me doesn't go out of bounds. They do capitalism. They perform the normal amount of capitalism.
No,
and I have a problem.
Just expect the company to perform that way. Like we live in that world.
Yeah.
Like we should expect them to be kind of anti-labor, kind of force. Because if you're not an idiot, you would understand that eventually everything can only get so cheap, and the only thing that you can force cheaper is your labor, and that's what GW is doing. You hear some horror stories out of the people who create their IP, and the people who work in their editing departments, and the people
they don't fucking credit their writers and authors openly.
They don't, right?
They say they do it to shield them from criticism, but like,
no, they don't care, and that's. It doesn't
unless we actually won that fight with Matt Ward back in fantasy.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is just like I'm not gonna let all the negative stuff that GW does that floats over here affect my love for playing this game over here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why me and Jacob act the way we do about the game, is we understand that the company isn't a representation of the community. And
furthermore,
this is the biggest thing that everyone here needs to realize, and anyone who could listen to me right now, take this to heart. The community is not one group. I have a community. Andrew has a community. Jacob's community and my community are pretty much the same, but every single one of you has your own Warhammer community. It is not the same group of people. So when guys like I don't give a fuck about what like the old boys club in England does, because they're not part of the same Warhammer community
kind of same. Yeah.
I'm part of.
I mean, shout outs to a lot of those content creators that I have a really good rapport with and I like, but like,
no, that's fine. That's
but
fine.
what happens with their,
we're not all in the same group. We're not the same group. It's not the same. It's not one community. It's not.
Yeah,
and that's
it's not
fine.
a monolith.
We're a bunch of bubbles of good friends that enjoy going to tournaments together or doing hobby together or whatever it is that we love. If you play Garage Hammer, like there are plenty of good garage groups that hang out in a basement and play Warhammer once a week, and those dudes will never interact with us. So it's not one community. The company kind of wants there to be an illusion of one community. There isn't. Who cares? I don't like everyone that plays Warhammer. Newsflash, when I was in a hardcore band, I didn't get along with 80% of the people I met. And we all did the same thing. We were all in hardcore bands.
A hardcore musician was derisive, and like
we had so much beef, it was insane.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Like just because you have similar interests or the exact same interest doesn't mean you have to be someone's buddy. It's exhausting. Stop trying to be everyone's friend. That's fucking horrible.
I take that personally.
Find a bunch of people. Find your Jacob. Wake up in the morning. Everyone who can see me or hear me or watches this back, wake up in the morning and realize that you probably have a Jacob Berry in your life, and make that Jacob Berry the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Chat gang is my Jacob Berry, by the way. Like,
that's depressing.
That's so sad.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Can you call chat gang at 3 a.m. and just say "I love you" really weird?
I just I streamed randomly at 3 a.m. in the morning, and chat gang was hanging out with me and caught me at like one of my worst days. It was my grandpa's birthday, coming back from his funeral a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
that's rough, dude.
So no, like chat, like.
But everyone has that network. That's your community. Chat gang is your community.
Mm-hmm.
I probably don't know 90% of the people in chat gang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I probably know a couple, but like, you know what I mean? That's your community. My community is, if I go on, me and Jacob are in a group chat, and the group chat is literally me and Jacob, the Dwellers Below, the notorious Age of Sigmar guys from New Zealand, and the Honest Wargamer guys. That's our group. That's our core community. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's like, and then
Das Asios here is which from the Mortal Realms podcast says willing to buy a Jacob Berry.
I'll be the judge of that.
He's not for sale. Never.
Beef in hardcore was the best part of being into hardcore, says Tristan.
Yeah, Tristan knows. He's been around. He knows.
More beef than a fucking steakhouse out here.
Oh, yeah.
It's also pretty much where our modus operandi came from. I was trying to replicate that in Warhammer.
What do you mean? Just to kind of reset it, replicate what specifically? Like the
beef.
The beef. Like you wanted to start beef with people.
General misanthropy.
That's funny. So you're like the punk rock podcast, basically. Like
that's not the first time we've been called that. But yeah, I wanted to go to Warhammer tournaments and like head walk and like do stage dives off the table onto my opponents.
I want to do we need walk up music. That's
roundhouse kick people's models.
Yeah, I want to roundhouse kick everyone I play and crowd punch 40k players when they're not looking. That's what I really want to get into. I did walk in music at CanCon when I played Randy in our
that was championship. The belt. Yeah, you got the belt, right?
It's in my attic. It's in my attic right now.
Right on.
It really needs to go to Australia. It's supposed to have shifted by now, but with COVID, we haven't done anything. But the rules for the belt were if no one had grudged me or ended up playing me at a tournament and beating me in that time period, within a year, it was supposed to go to another open that I couldn't play against. So anyone could grudge anyone for the belt, and then whoever had like the best, video or shtick they were doing, they would go for it. But we never got around to it because of COVID, and it's something that I'd like to bring back. I'd like to do all that again.
And we've got 2 tournaments in the next 3 months, and Joe refuses to let me grudge him at these tournaments.
Well, it's supposed to run to Australia already. Yeah, you have to find me in bracket, but it's supposed to shift to them.
Catch him in bracket.
It's supposed to shift to them. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I think the walk up music, the production, that's the stuff I like about Age of Sigmar. I try to be an ambassador. That doesn't necessarily mean I try to be everyone's friend for the game. Like, it's just I'm so anti-gatekeeping, with the exception of, like, fuck racist Nazis and gatekeepers themselves. You gotta have a threshold to your tolerance, right? Like, it's called the paradox of tolerance. You have to have a threshold to what you tolerate, otherwise you facilitate intolerance. Yeah. And so like I hold the line there, but otherwise it's like I don't care what the fuck this guy thinks about like Warhammer models and their crappy opinions about stuff. Like, I'm gonna be nice to you, I don't need to be your friend to be cordial, to be respectable or respectful. Like, that's how I carry myself. Like, it's worked for me, and it took me a lot of effort to get to this place, because I used to be a lot more in the I used to carry a lot heavier chip on my shoulder. I get into a lot of fucking fights growing up, and I finally burnt out of it. I'm like, I can't keep fucking fighting everybody I disagree with anymore, whether it's a fucking verbal shellacking or I get so mad at them like for their stupid words. I'm like, next time I fucking see this person, I'm gonna fuck their shit up. And I'm like, that angry Mephisto is not. He's not a fun guy.
That's what a mute button's for, dude. Who cares?
Mute, well, that's where I'm at now. Is like mute, block, keep scrolling. Like, and that's how I feel towards people. Like, I catch some shit every now and then for my mental health takes and stuff like that. I'm like, the scariest thing of being open about having mental health issues is people saying that you're inauthentic, you're doing it to like fucking get a pity party, or you're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, it's not for you, asshole. It's for the few people that hear this stuff and they're like, okay, cool.
Need it.
Yeah. I'm like, the rest of you can block me or fucking keep scrolling. You don't have to be here. If you don't like my takes, you could, there's 18 people viewing right now. We'll get about 400 people watch this back, right? Like, if you don't like my show, stop watching it.
That's what we said. Like, so some people who listen to our podcast will know about what happened with me
Where's
saying.
Is this?
Tell
Are
me,
you about
Jen.
to tell me what happened to the Dwellers Below megacast? Are you about to tell me where it went?
Oh, I'll tell you what happened. You want to know? You
Tell him,
wanna know?
Joe. Tell him. Oh, he's gonna tell him.
I went off on Coach.
Yeah.
I told him to delete his fucking YouTube channel. But it wasn't that. I wasn't super mean to Coach. It's just a couple uncouth things got said by multiple people.
See, this is why you got to release it.
But also Nick Hohen was just so tired of editing podcasts and shit, and like they don't do it like everyone else does. Like the Dwellers had like a soundboard, and like he had to like go in and like edit every channel. And because I mean, like the Dwellers were a podcast back when podcasting wasn't accessible. It was something you had to invest in. It took time and effort. Like it was like doing a real audio production.
Yeah.
You know, and now we have all these platforms that are easy. You just click. And we're podcasting.
Guilty.
We're podcasting right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
you
guilty.
Know?
Yeah.
You know, we're guilty too.
That's what we do. We just Zencaster.
It's also why there's 700 fucking Warhammer podcasts now.
And we're number fucking 11.
No,
On
anymore. We dropped to 15.
On the one website,
Really?
you have to pay to have an account to get your shit on.
No.
Yeah.
No. You're ranked too. You're ranked like number 6 or some shit.
No way.
It doesn't make sense.
No way in hell. No way in hell.
I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. Like the Honest Wargamer isn't even on it. So like,
Yeah, it's
not an accurate list.
It's bunk. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're all.
If the
all
first two aren't like Honest Wargamer and like Warhammer Weekly, then like the list is.
Yeah, and neither of them on it. Like,
does Warhammer Weekly have a podcast?
I guess technically they don't port their shit to like Spotify or whatever, right?
So number 1, I think, is the Mortal Realms.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be. Yeah, that tracks.
And then number 2 or 3 is Coach, and then like you're like number 6 or 5 or
No
something,
way in hell.
and then we are ranked higher. Every single one that we've mentioned, and us included, are ranked higher than the Stormcast, which is the
official podcast. Yeah.
So
yeah.
fuck them.
Yeah.
It's a non-revenue generating stream. Like, what's it gonna do?
Yeah, I mean,
put money or effort into it.
Well, I mean, that's that authenticity, though. I mean, I mean, you said you go like to start beef and stuff like that. This is why give us just clips of the Dwellers podcast, just a couple of them. You don't like fucking release them for charity or something like that. Yeah.
If I had access, I would. We would
start that beef.
We offered to publish it on Rage of Sigmar, and Nick was just like, he's busy, dude. He just got married, and like,
he's big into X-Wing now.
Yeah. Those guys are great, and they're awesome dudes. They're just kind of they're gamers. Like if AOS 3 sucked, which I don't think it will, but if it did, I would be like hard pressed to figure out what I was going to do as a hobby, because even though I love painting miniatures, like, it's Warhammer that drives me. It's Warhammer.
The eventual playing of the miniatures, like that's the opportunity to showcase your shit, right? Like this is the stuff
Not even that. I've played other miniature games. Like I played Bolt Action for a long time. Like, and none of it ever felt right. It wasn't fun. It wasn't meant to be fun. AOS is like when I go to a tournament, like maybe I'll have 1 or 2 guys that I play that are a little more serious. But most of the time, I'm like just trying to have a good time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And like other miniature games don't encompass that. War Machine is sweaty. You know what I mean? It's like intense.
Yeah.
And then you have games like Malifaux. They're too intense.
Yeah, I agree.
And 40K is too intense. That's why I don't play 40K. Like
there's something about that justification to go away for a weekend, and like there are certainly people there that want to walk away with hardware. Yeah, you signing you love me to me, right? That was it. No, oh, that was a joke. Nope. Oh, damn. Yeah. No, but that excuse to go and play like your 5 games and like make it a thing and so on and so forth. Like, dude, I didn't show up to like fucking get in someone's grill and fucking like rules lawyer really be in the minutia of the like balls deep in the minutia of the rules. Like I'm not here for that. I do other things for that. If this was what this was about, I wouldn't have as much interest in Age of Sigmar. I'm fucking rocking my Black Mana symbol shirt right now, for Magic the Gathering. I put a fucking down payment on a house with basically winnings from playing legacy tournaments, right? With the boxes and selling cards and that shit. Like, I put a down payment on a house. That house fell through. The seller sold to their friend instead. But, like, the point is, like, needed a few grand. Oh, yeah. Fucking, like, time to sell a bunch of packs that I won from tournaments. Like, I've lived that life. Went to the cold open that will only ever live in our heart and no one will ever hear. Once you start making it about the money or making it about that, like, it takes something away from the fun, you know?
It's the same. So this is great. This is a good place because we went here on one of our most recent podcast episodes. It's the Pleasant for Plastic crowd that is fucking up the Warhammer podcast community and the quality of podcasts. And like, you don't have to agree, but I'm going to say it. We've said it multiple times on our show. Facehammer is disingenuous. Everyone who's out there and they get a new book and they get it early and it's great, and then it's Slanesh. So fast. How many times I would die of alcohol poisoning if I took a shot every time Facehammer talked about how fast Slanesh was. You know what I mean? It's
well, they don't fly and they don't teleport. You're not fast. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, or they don't move in hero phase. They don't.
Yeah. You don't do any of the. You don't do any.
Unless your move sticks.
But if you say negative stuff about the game, if you say this, in my opinion, is not good, or this, in my opinion, is the negative play experience, or if you're pointing out any faults in a GW system, they're not giving you free shit.
Right.
Yeah, I'll never get my Warhammer Hero Award. Damn.
No.
You know, like,
no.
I've said negative things ever. I even like try to like filter myself a little bit. I do a little bit of the, like, if I feel super strongly or negatively about something, I'll just shift targets. Because, like, I don't want to live in the negative headspace. I'm a very sardonic person by nature, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking come to my fun thing to be down on something.
Yeah, but also you're honest.
But I'll still call it like I see it. I mean, come on, I'm not going to piss in your mouth and call it rain. Like, I hate that.
Andrew, I could tell you right now, you could run a 200-player event that raised $20,000 every time you played it for cancer. And if you went on a microphone and said, GW, fuck this up, you will not win that Warhammer Hero Award. You will not.
Ruined my day. I'm all right with it, though. I'll sleep well at night. I know who I am. I know what I do.
Right.
This is when we talk about managing expectations of a capitalist company. They're not going to put anyone who's critical of them on a pedestal. That's fine. I understand that. That's cool. I'll roll with it.
Vince does a really good job of saying, like, of criticism, and like he got like a Sigvold to paint and stuff like that. Like he's been.
Yeah, but he's also Vince Ventrella, dude. He's not. You know what I mean? Like the guy.
But also he tempers his.
He's very good at like tempering what he says, and I've been trying to learn a lesson from him of, you know, like I kind of unrelated to Age of Sigmar. There's Folding Ideas is a pretty fantastic, really really old YouTube channel. He has a really good bit on like the difference between like criticism and negativity passed off as criticism, and like the differences in having something substantive to say. You know, you can't just be like, this movie sucks, because he's very much in the film side of things. This movie sucks because this frame was bad, right? Or this movie sucks because the acting was bad. That's not very that doesn't construct anything. That destructs stuff, right? Like we're like as a society, we are terrible at actually delivering criticism. We mistake negativity for criticism, and so in my personal quest at betterment, I'm like, well, when am I being negative and when am I criticizing? Because there's a difference, but we like associate the two together. Think of like, you know, the fucking angry video game nerd and like everything that was like internet culture, what we were taught. I used to do a panel at all the like anime conventions and gaming conventions and stuff called Your Video Game Sucks. The first half of it was teaching people video game tenets, which I sort of did. I rehashed with Age of Sigmar design with one of my episodes. It's kind of dry. Talked about philosophy a bunch and game design. And I unfortunately scheduled it smack dab between when Vince did his 2 design shows. I'm like, fuck, no one's gonna watch this. Like, Vince is talking about it. They're not watching my shit. But yeah, so I used to do that, and like, so the first half is teaching people design tenets, and then the second half was roasting games, and the audience would just sit there and like shout a game at me and try to get me to make fun of these like games. I'm like, there's nothing constructive about it, you know. But like, you can always tear something down. There's always shit to have a problem with, and it's like how having a problem with something, righteous, man, righteous indignation is one of the best feelings a human can have. Like, would you just let it go? You know, that's where the RantCast name comes from. Sometimes it's just fucking cathartic. But then on the end side of it, it's like you gotta find a way to like build from there, right? Sorry.
Yeah, and like that's what Vince does, right? Is he's really good at
right. That's what
pointing the problem, and he takes a steaming pile of shit that is the Slanesh book and breaks it down to here's how it's going to succeed, here's the ways that it comes up short. And
well, he's a robot built in the future, sent back in time to paint models and talk about Warhammer.
Also,
right,
so think about the amount of free labor Vince Ventrella does for Games Workshop.
That's a really good point.
Painting models, and now people want to paint their models, and like
talking about the show,
about it.
Talking about the game.
Every single one of us are unpaid advertisers. Every one of us.
There's
You're an unpaid advertiser.
I know.
I'm an unpaid advertiser. Jacob's an unpaid advertiser. We all advertise their product.
Yep.
Right? Vince is on another fucking level of advertiser.
Because he paints like 60 hours a week.
Yeah, and that's great. And honestly, dude, Vince is incredibly cerebral. He's an amazing guy.
Very articulate.
His
very smart.
wit is perfect. He doesn't he doesn't like he just knows he's good. He's good at that. He's the perfect
practiced, he's polished.
And his skill and talent level for painting is phenomenal. He is the trifecta. He doesn't curse. He doesn't say anything uncouth. He doesn't make corny jokes. He doesn't do any of that.
Fuck, I do all of that.
He's like
curse uncouth jokes are like my specialty.
But he's literally the person that when someone's like, hey, I want to get into painting models, are there any YouTube videos out there that I could like see how this, and then they find Vince's hobby cheating, that's the person you want to introduce anyone into the hobby. You could let your kid watch that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So why wouldn't Vince be, supported by the company? Yeah, he got a Sigvald early.
Yeah.
They give, literally, think about it, Andrew, right?
Yeah, where's his hero award, right?
Who did they give Sigvalds early to? They gave one to Vince. They gave one to Richard Gray. They gave one to... Who else? They gave it to like 5 pro painters, and one of them wasn't that good. Not being a hater, I'm just saying. One of them I was like, they gave this guy early. But anyway, they gave them a $50 model a month early. Let's say it's a month early, right? Getting commission painted that model by any of those artists would have cost you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So who won?
Well, GW.
There?
Yeah, GW.
Games Workshop won.
They performed capitalism quite well. Like
exactly. So like when I look at people who get like who are pleasant for plastic, I kind of just see them as like selling out. You know what I mean? Like I would never. I mean, I'm a union guy, and I'm sure everyone could tell.
Very pro labor and pro. Yeah.
Do nothing for my employer that I am not paid for. I don't stay a minute past the fucking time. I take all my breaks. The deal is always exactly what the contract says, and that's what we do. Right?
You're in. I know you're a tradie, right? Like
I'm a sheet metal worker.
Yeah.
So
Local 28, baby.
So is Jacob.
Really?
So is Jacob.
Local 177.
Yeah, he's an apprentice now.
Oh, right on, dude. I thought you were in IT or something like that for whatever reason.
I couldn't stop a computer from becoming a sandwich if I put mayo.
I don't know. I just had this like this vision of you like bespectacled sitting at a computer in like in a cubicle for a while.
Oh, it's because he's from the Bay Area. It's from these.
Is that what it is? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to stereotype you.
Yeah.
My bad.
That's fine. My feelings aren't hurt. Anyway, good to see you. See ya. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. No, back to what you were saying. Reset it a little bit. No, now I'm holding you captive, Jacob Berry. He just clicks the like hang up call button. No, Fantastic.
I knew he would do that.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call him back. I don't know how to. No, what you were saying is there's something about like unpaid advertisement. There was something I became really cognizant of the sort of last 3 months or so, which is the minute you become an entertainer, the minute you entertain, right? You're selling something for somebody else. It's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like even this, what we're doing right here, right?
Yeah.
I'm on your show.
No, I'm on yours.
Or you're on mine, whatever.
Yeah.
We're both doing something that benefits each other, right? Like
I just wanted to talk to you guys, but yeah.
Even though it's not about that, it still has that reciprocating effect.
Right.
Right. That still kind of comes around. The GW is going to get as much free labor out of people as they can. Playtesters are not paid.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to be a playtester. They want you to do all this.
Do it for the passion, right?
Other industries pay people for.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a video game tester and
make
money.
I was a paid video game tester.
I know it's not great money, but you could get paid.
Also, it's not as glamorous as people thought it was. Playtesting is
jumping
grueling.
in a corner
for hours. You get your sheet at the beginning of the day, and you have to bang out this stuff, and you just play the same fucking level, the same section of a map, the same over and over and over again, doing these 6 or 10 or whatever things. It's grueling. It's boring. It sucks the passion. I don't know anything about Games Workshop playtesting. I purposefully try not to know anything about it because I don't. I respect their NDAs, and Relian's here in chat. Like, he's a good dude. Would never want to say anything to fucking compromise that fucking thing, right? But from my experience in video game playtesting, it sucked my passion out.
I'd like to make a point about Brad, right? Like, Brad being a playtester, like, he one time told me that like there are a lot of guys that don't want people to know that they're playtesters, right? Now, because there's this stupid thing that goes on with GW where people can't separate employees from a company, right? Ben Johnson caused a bunch of flack, right? Mm-hmm. And there's things that he has done that are, in my opinion, personally, I think are a little unethical. To like, it's such a gray area.
The skull cannon thing comes to mind immediately, right?
Well, not even that. It's also like winning a tournament with Feck the week they come out or whatever.
Oh God, I'd have to go way back. That Blackout, right? That was Blackout. He won.
So I don't even know the full story, but this is just what you hear through people, and that seems unethical to me. Yeah. If that's the case, I don't know if it's the case, so I won't bash the guy. But why the fuck are we talking about Ben Johnson? What he does? You know what I mean? Like, the playtest department should be a paid entity of employees, but these guys are like volunteers, and I don't know what they get. Like, I know, like, I'm good friends with Tony Pacheco. Tony doesn't really talk about what GW does for him at all, and it's probably because he also doesn't talk about what he does at his real job, because he works for a government contractor, and that's all.
Well, some people are just wired to not talk work too, right? Some people just don't talk work. Yeah.
It just, from what I've gathered, because Tony's a good friend of mine, it's never, to me personally, seemed worth it. I don't want podcasting about Warhammer to become how I make my money. I do commission painting sometimes. I do it for friends, because doing it for a friend is like, I can make a little extra money and they're my buddy, and that's cool, right? But why would I want to make the thing I enjoy how I work? Like, I don't know, man. I have a negative opinion about work, and I just think that like a lot of the guys in the playtest team get a really, really shit reaction from the community, and like, you gotta remember, they're like volunteers, dude. They're doing it because they love the game and they want it to be better. And then you hear from some of them that like a lot of their things that are problems that we all latch onto post FAQ were things that they had brought up and fell on deaf ears.
Yeah. I've heard a little bit about some of the stuff that they're like, yo, this is a problem. Like, Six Nation tournaments is probably one of my favorite examples of being like, command point stacking is a problem. Please don't let this go live. It went live, and the perception of Six Nation Tournament on the internet is a little varied. But they basically everyone who was like, don't let command points stack, this is a problem and this is bad for the game, brought the most abusive crap they could think of to show Games Workshop the mistake they had made. And that's one of my favorite stories. I've clearly editorialized it. It exists at a point in time when I had first started, I had gotten to Age of Sigmar, GHB 2017, 2.0 came out 2018, right? I had just, and like, that was, I remember learning the game, having a vested interest in like rules at that point, and then Six Nation happened, and I remember going, good, like, they told you, and this is what you deserve. There's things that I assure you the playtesters do catch, and then they catch flack on the internet because it's a low-hanging fruit. Games Workshop gets to feel like they're in the clear because you criticize a playtester and not the company.
Yeah, it deflects.
Speaking of free labor,
yeah, we were just talking about that. I know you left, but yeah, we were talking about how those guys. You too, bud. We were talking about how like they're unpaid and like how it's such. Like, I remember when we put playtester in our Twitter profiles. I think it still says that in my profile, like, just as a joke. But like Sam Morgan did it, and people were like, "When did you become a playtester?" It's like, who cares? Who cares?
If I may, go ahead, finish your point.
No, the thing about the NDAs and all that, like, that's fine for the company to want, like, you not to leak specific information, but like GW could, like, they could just give us a timeline. All you gotta do is.
Oh yeah, this is separate from playtesting in my mind.
Like, but like, you know what I mean? Because people don't want to know the specifics as much as they want to know when.
Yep.
And that's all GW needs to do is go, you know what, guys? It's 2022, and here's every month. This is what's coming. So prepare yourselves.
Oh, they
don't. And I don't know if that's a bad faith tactic or not, right? Because like, if you know that your army's getting a new book in 3 months, you might not go buy X, Y, and Z because you're gonna wait the 3 months to see what the new book says. Is that a bad faith tactic or not?
I know that I would have bought far more Slaanesh if I hadn't seen Potato Cam Vampire Lord Milady, right? I was about to like dump a bunch of money on Slaanesh, and I'm like, well, vampires are confirmed coming instead of speculated coming, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait for that.
Yeah,
but
why is it fair to you to
the consumer?
Go, all right, I don't have a product that I want yet, so I'll buy this product because it will keep me busy till whenever that comes out.
Right.
And then as soon as you spend all that money you had on Y,
now I can't buy X first and foremost. So like the thing I truly want, I'm left with FOMO, and you're always in that loop of. I mean, this goes into the big thing. I draw the line in criticism of Games Workshop is consumer exploitation. That, like, we've talked a couple times. I've had private conversations with Vince Venturella about this, who basically works in product development and pipeline. That's pretty much what he does. Like, he's very aware of this.
I always thought that he worked in insurance, but that's just because the way he dresses.
It's the apron. It's the apron, right? It's the apron. It's the apron, right? We always got to be prepared. You like
a lot of non-slip shoes in insurance.
It's the baking. It's the baking. Every
right,
but like bakes a lot.
But we were talking about, like, there's no reason. So there's he brought up a concept called, and checking. I'm paraphrasing. I might get some of the particulars wrong, but he talked about, like, in the pipeline you have ice, slush, and liquid. Or so when 6 months out, it's ice. It's solid. We know this is what's happening in the next 6 months. Companies, when you pitch to your investors, it's slush. You're like, hey, we kind of know what we're going to do in the next year to 18 months, right? And then sort of the most zoomed out is it's liquid. It's fluid, right? 3 years, we know kind of what we want to do. We have a big timetable. They, as a company, any company worth its salt that has products in a pipeline of release I know my next 6 podcast episodes. And I know that I've got the Rantathon, shameless self-promotion, coming up on the 30th. Like, I fucking know.
Wait a second, hang on.
Yeah.
You don't do show notes, but you know what your next 6 podcast episodes.
I do show notes, Jag.
What's your top 5 Joe moments from the last 2 years in
the time I made a joke from a quote, I quoted a movie, and he had no idea I was quoting a movie to him, and he got mad at me. That's my top. That's my number 5.
It's number 5.
What movie was it?
Fuck, man, I can't even remember. Like, the thing I said was so tongue in cheek and not even worth my own mental capacity to throw out a joke.
I wrote this instead of playing with my daughter today. You come here with this bullshit, like you can just go off the cuff and come unprepared. You come on our show.
I know.
And you treat us with this disrespect.
No, I know. My bad. No, this is
I'm
look,
leaving again just to be dramatic.
Yeah, it's a Saturday show. It's like, and I'm like, man, I'm so fucking overworked. Speaking of not seeing the surplus value of my fucking labor, average tickets completed for my job, 2 tickets per hour, right? That means if you work in 10-hour shift, you should do 20 tickets in a day. I did 199. Let's round that off to fucking 200. 3 days in a row. 10 times the fucking efficiency of anybody else in my company. And like, I have a job, but once summer hits or once summer lands, this is what I do. I'm the most efficient locator in the state of Wisconsin by 2 companies' standards. It's what I do. I work this hard so that they leave me the fuck alone during the slow season. Right? Like, for the most part. But that's anyway, like, you know, but I don't see fucking 10 times pay. I see time and a half. Like,
yeah, what's time and a half?
You get double on Sundays?
No, just time and a half. Well, tomorrow I'll be out and I'll get time and a half. I got to work tomorrow.
You need to get double.
But like, I can't afford to.
Hours.
Everyone keeps telling me like, we'll just stop doing tickets. You know, like, you only have so many hours in a day. Like, you can only be so efficient before you're taking shortcuts and you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. And here's a rant. This has nothing to do with Age of Sigmar. It has something to do with capitalism, but and I'm like, if I don't do my job, someone fucking dies, or more realistically gets hurt. You know, Sunnyville, or whatever the hell, right outside of Madison. Someone who does my job didn't do their job, and they blew up a fucking, when they went to dig and excavate a new gas line, they hit the high pressure, blew up a building, and 3 people died. Like, if I don't do I can't afford to not do my job because people get hurt or injured. And so, like, I'm in this position where I have to do my job. I have so much work, I can't afford to not do it for, you know, and, you know, you're looking at a motivation where it's like, the motivation is to not hurt people and to not get fired, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the same thing in our industry, though. It's like, you're always working hard because you don't want to be the first guy to get laid off. Right. But getting laid off is part of our industry. Like, I get laid off. It happens to me, and I'm like a core company guy right now. Even though I'm not a company. That's like a weird thing to say. Like, my company relies on 4 different dudes, and it's me and my partner and 2 guys that are brothers, and like, we handle all the hard stuff. But like, we don't give a shit about the company.
Sun Prairie. See, Dos knew. Yeah, someone who does what I do with different company didn't do their job, and imagine having to live going, I killed 3 people because I didn't paint fucking dirt the right way. Like, insanity. But I just want to reset one thing real quick.
This to me sounds like the company you work for getting you to bite into the idea that you're responsible, not them.
Well, and that's the thing is, this year
that's construction now, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's
construction now.
And so I'm like, look, you got to send help. You got to send help. You got to send help. And I got laid off. I get laid off every year because winter, you can't do construction in frozen dirt. So I get laid off every year, usually about February. I was laid off February, and the construction didn't stop. So somebody got to experience my area from outside my area. And the first thing he said to me, my supervisor covered my area. The first thing he said to me when I came back was, I am so sorry we didn't send help to you last year. I had no idea it was this bad. And I'm like, you're fucking welcome. Like, and I got written up because I lost my shit at a contractor like halfway through last year. And he's like, I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, Yeah, thank you. Walk a mile in other people's shoes. He got to walk several miles in mine. But no, I mean, we're talking about pipelines, and I think that it's responsible as a company to have pipelines. I don't know if it's good faith or bad faith. I don't think a $65 billion company is particularly inept, and I think you get to have like, oh, I didn't know any better, like gives you a little bit of credence, right? If people think that. So pipelines, just like think about like what we saw for like Warhammer Fest, right? We had the little banners with the little icons. You basically only have to do something like that for your release schedule for the next year.
Well, they have a fucking roadmap for Underworlds, so it's clear somebody there knows that these things exist and are a good practice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The problem is they don't want the third party like knockoff people, right, to like get to market with the models before they do, which was always a problem in fantasy.
Right.
It's like there would be pictures on a potato phone, there'd be a leak, and then what is it? Not War Master. What was the one that you bought those shitty models from, Joe?
Avatars of War.
Avatars of War would come out with a shitty knockoff and get to market before GW would.
But the thing is like Games Workshop does a lot better with building goodwill with their customers. You talk about like podcasters being free advertisement and stuff like that. We live in a little bit different way. They know they release a premium product now, like, and
there's no one that can compete.
Like, right? Like nobody can compete. Like, they can take a little bit for granted and be a little bit more user friendly and like, tell me you're releasing these 3 armies or what, or you intend to, like, or somewhere like, oh, they don't tell you because if they change the date because things happen, people would be mad. Those people who get mad because you change the date when there is a once in a century pandemic deserve to be mad.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened to Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah,
you changed the date the last time and it was trash when it dropped.
Right, like you change the date. Reasonable people will be okay with that when you change stuff in your pipeline. But the people like me, again, the potato cam probably did cost them money. I keep thinking about it here. Because I was making jokes on my show, not on your guys' show like I am now. I was making jokes that like the potato cam I thought was an inside job, ha ha ha, and I was just like making jokes about that. And I'm like, no, because hindsight, like it cost them money. I didn't buy in as hard on Slaanesh as I would have because I knew vampires were confirmed, right? Like,
can I bring up a weird headcanon?
Go ahead.
All right, was Warhammer Fest videos actually live?
I have no idea, man. There's no way to tell.
They wore the same clothes every day.
Did they?
They had like the same
like
outfit.
Same underwear.
Same outfit. No, but like moderately different, like stylized wise, but like, and then one day, what were those guys' names? The guys who did it, one of the guys was like, it was like sunny out, and like I was on live with Rob Symes. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I don't know who that is.
So
I've heard of Rufio Symes. I've never heard of Rob Symes.
No, that's his cousin.
You're thinking of Ron.
Ron? Yeah.
Ron. But I was on with Ron Symes.
They responded to chat, says Relian.
I know. If they're bots, plants.
I love this. I love a good conspiracy theory. Keep going. I love conspiracy theories.
Humor me.
I know you got to look.
It's
like
timed.
Yeah,
It's timed. And you know what?
Jacob Berry, you're Andrew right now. I'll be.
Games Workshop.
I gotta pull you up on my phone.
It's controlled by interdimensional lizard people. It's controlled by
California Jew
lizard people. Come on, that's a dog whistle.
The Seraphon are running the government. Hillary Clinton smells like sulfur. Alex Jones is.
And you never see her hands, right? Like you never see her hands.
Yeah.
I've never seen Hillary. Yeah, I've never seen Hillary's hands. I've never seen her hands. You know that's classic. That's classic Anglo-Christian demonology. You don't see demons' hands.
Yeah, they don't have hands.
Yeah, demons don't. You
tentacles.
Yeah,
10 of them.
That's why it's called tentacles, not ninetacles.
Yeah.
I'm out of beer. I gotta go grab beer. Jacob Berry.
All right.
A top five favorite beers.
Okay.
And why is one of them Cave Ale by Potosi that I gave you?
Oh,
I have no recollection of this beer.
This is a great question. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning into RantCast. This has been Joe from Rage of Sigmar with my co-host Jacob Berry. And good night.